What's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Clarouche.
And this is the Nerdy,
the Wordy,
the book club, the final edition.
It's the final book. No, it's not. That's
it's the final edition of the Wheel of Time as we recap the entire series by answering your questions and probably just like responding to chat about the Wheel of Time because we've read it. We've read River of Souls.
We did the thing.
We've done all of the things. We are complete, and it is time for our final discussion. I'm very sad about this. That is right. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. How you doing?
How we doing, Chad? How we feeling?
How we doing? This is
I should have worn my
terrible.
Matt shirt. Should have worn my Matt.
You know what?
That was a missed opportunity.
I feel like book clubs is a lot of like me wearing our merch and you not.
Yeah.
There's a disappointing amount of merch on the rooster.
Well, I just like the merch is like very casual and like only the like cropped shirts fit me well and the cropped hoodies, and I'm not gonna wear the hoodie, so I kind of only wear the cropped shirt.
Did we turn the AC on?
I didn't.
You talk to chat for a second. We're gonna die if we don't have it.
That's fair. Good morning, chat. How we feeling? How's everybody processing this? Oh, you can see out the door. You can see a little tote there in my robe. I love that for us. How we doing? We did it. We're at the end. We know all of the secrets. We have ascended into godhood, and
I am now the Dragon Reborn.
Yeah, you're now the Dragon Reborn.
Yeah.
You know, we got stuff to say.
All right. Did Claris get bangs? Kind of.
Kind of. Depending on how they, like, go. Like, sometimes... Like, yesterday we were shooting, and they were, like, cute, like, fully across. But they take some styling, and I don't have fucking time for that shit. So.
Eric Wood says it's another turning of the book club. Yes, and the next turning of the book club, we'll be reading The Inheritance Cycle by Christopher Paolini.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. I know some of you have already started the reading, which has brought me joy. We've been chatting about it in the Discord. It's been a good time.
Yeah, so that is going to start on the Tuesday the 17th?
Yep.
On Tuesday the 17th, oh my god, we land and then we have book club the next morning.
Yep.
On Tuesday the 17th, y'all, the next edition of the Nerdy Wordy Book Club begins with Inheritance Cycle Aragon. We're going to be doing the full book. We are doing one book a week for 4 weeks. So that is going to be a lot of reading if you want to do it with us. We're going to get started on the reading now.
Yeah, because we've already read the books. It's not like we have to, like, just go into the pins to make sure. But yeah, it's not like we are going to be speculating.
Yeah, we've read all 4 of the books before, but we wanted
24th.
to... We've never actually read them together or talked about them together.
October 24th.
The 24th.
Yes.
That's what I said, isn't it?
You said the 17th, and I was
Sorry,
like, that
October
seems
24th.
early.
Yes.
Yeah.
The day after we get back from Vegas.
Yeah.
And so, October 24th. You are right. I'm wrong.
Okay, I wanted to make sure.
We will be starting the Inheritance Cycle because there's a new book coming out, Murtagh, by Christopher Paolini. Those after we do 4 weeks of Inheritance Cycle, we are going to be doing Murtagh in at least 2 weeks. It depends on how big that book is.
Yeah.
If it's like 1,000 pages, we might have to break it up a little bit more. But we'll see.
We'll be gone, so...
We'll see.
We'll see.
We might finish it in Los Angeles.
Yeah. We'll figure that out.
We stream from Los Angeles.
Thank you so much for that super chat.
Dead Iron.
We made it under 2 years of reading.
We did make it under 2 years of...
We did.
We did make it under 2 years of reading.
We got there. It's been a crazy 2 years.
It has been.
Yeah.
It really has been. It's been a wonderful journey with these books, with this community.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all are pretty special. And you've made the last 2 years special.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I think that historically, when I look back on this period of my life, there's going to be an element of, you know, my memories of these books will be more about the community than about the books themselves.
Yeah.
Which is honestly, like, it's the same way I sort of feel about Harry Potter, right? Especially in the wake of the J.K. Rowling stuff, but even before that, like, I was never the biggest fan of, like, the narrative of Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
but I was such a huge fan of the experiences that series brought me.
Yeah.
Because it was such a phenomenon, and because there were so many like midnight releases and things with friends that meant so much. And this is starting to have a similar sort of vibe in my head of, I'm not the biggest fan of half of the series. And there's definitely some like problematic elements in the writing and but despite all of that, the community around it and the experiences of reading it with this have been such a wonderful time that like I'll always have a fond place in my heart for it, even if, I could like nitpick it to death.
Yeah,
and
of course.
I have. There's 260 hours of book club.
Well, and that's the thing is when we're doing these hour-long shows and we're analyzing segments.
When have we ever done an hour-long show?
These hours-long shows.
Oh, hours long. I heard hour-long, and I was like, "What book club are you watching?"
Please. No. And these hours-long shows, it's and we're analyzing like specific segments. That's kind of what it ends up being, and
mostly me fighting with chat. Y'all know what you did. Alec, thank you for joining the Nargs
Welcome
for
back.
20 dang months.
Good to have you here.
Love watching all your content. Can't wait for what's next to come.
Thank you.
It's the Inheritance Cycle. And then, because of a game
books.
of rock, paper, scissors, the Cosmere.
Yeah. Rock, paper, scissors decided that for us.
We might not do book club the same way moving forward, though. We've discussed an option that we have not decided upon.
Oh.
We've discussed.
I don't remember.
Apparently, the books of the Expanse series are relatively short.
Oh, yeah.
They're a lot shorter than A Wheel of Time, and so there is a chance that we might start varying up the book club a little bit and doing a Cosmere book and then doing like 1 or 2 weeks of an Expanse book in between each Cosmere book.
Yeah, which I'm not totally sold on because keeping things straight in my head is already difficult enough. But like it's an interesting idea, and it might like I don't know. The Wheel of Time feels like it has gone by so fast, but it also feels like so long that it might help like break things up a little bit.
Yeah, we've also just done like apparently the Cosmere has like different like series within it.
Yeah, so we could do like a section and then Expanse, and then we could do like a section, and it's something that we're talking about anyways.
I don't want to read any of the Expanse books until we finish watching the Redacted.
Yeah.
And so we'll see what's gonna happen, but I do sometimes wonder if by not taking any breaks with the Wheel of Time and pushing through this one series for 2 years, if we had like looked away for a second and coming back to it, it might have felt a little bit more like the experience other people had of like waiting for the next book.
For sure.
And made them a little bit more fond instead of like, ugh,
I was like, oh god,
fucking Sanchin.
The slog is
fucking
actually
Sanchin.
real. Yeah. So it's something that we're thinking about.
Yeah.
We also did talk about maybe doing a one-off book club over the holidays.
Yeah.
For Fourth Wing.
Before we get into Cosmere in January.
Yeah. Because we're gonna do like the longer form book club like starting in the new year, right? I think that's like the perfect time to start on a new journey like that. But we might over the holidays cover that book. It's been big on TikTok. My aunt has sent me 2 copies of it. I have a hardcover and a paperback version. So I definitely need to read it at some point. And that just feels like a more like fun, casual book club that is a one-off. It's not part of a series.
Yeah.
It's not a huge commitment because the holidays are crazy busy for people. But that is again a maybe just kind of things that we're talking about for the channel moving forward.
Yeah, I like the idea of that. I like the idea of starting 2024 off with a new book instead of
a brand new series that's gonna be like another journey, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to figure out a road setup for the shores because we are gonna have to do mini book clubs from LA. So we're gonna have to figure that out.
Oh, guys,
All
we're
right.
spending a month in LA. It's gonna be fun next year.
What other housekeeping do we have aside from the forward momentum of the book club? We have Ember Eyes joining the Narcs for 10 months. Thank you for helping me finish the series. It only took me 3 tries. Book club kept me going when it was tough. It was nice to feel not alone.
You know what?
You're never alone.
That is real. That is real. I think like you might have stopped reading them. If it wasn't like a
for book club?
For book club. Yeah.
I would never have started.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
No, but I
feel
mean
I might have.
and I've said that on the podcast before.
Yeah.
Like almost all of my reading was when I was pre-college.
Yeah.
Or really not like grade 11, right? Because then once I hit grade 11 and I was like, I'm going to New York, I'm going to be on Broadway. The only books that I read were An Actor Prepares, On Writing by Stephen King. Like I got into a phase in my life where it was so much about this goal of being on Broadway.
Yeah.
And
that's when I stopped reading too.
It was no, 100%. I just, for me, like the idea of taking the time to read 15 books for pleasure is so contrary to the way that I lived my life for like a decade and a half, and only coming back and like coming back to reading because of YouTube, because I'm able to like make it work. I never would have been able to read The Wheel of Time otherwise. I would have seen the length of the series on the shelf and been like, I can't do that.
Yeah, book club has really opened up a lot of doors for us, like personally and like professionally, in the sense of like our content. And honestly, I am so grateful. For it.
Brian Etier, thank you.
Thank you so much
for that diddly dang super chat.
That super duper chat.
You freaking monster.
Oh my god.
In celebration of you finishing Wheel of Time, here's a Tarvalon mark. They are made to be larger than a typical golden mark. Also, are you guys including The Fork, the Witch, and the Worm with the Inheritance Book Club? So pumped for Aragon. P.S. Can we get a Roran versus Perrin character analysis at some point?
Oh, with the hammers? That would be fascinating, actually.
I'd have to reread it before I could talk about that in depth.
Which we will. And here's the thing. First of all, Brian, thank you so much for that super chat and for taking this journey with us. We're not done with Wheel of Time content. We've said this before. We want to do some TTRPG stuff. We're probably going to do some character ranking stuff. We're going to come back.
The Secrets of the Trolloc Wars is coming next year, you guys.
Yeah. We're probably going to do another like full series recap when we've had a few weeks or months to like digest it and think about it and like, you know, all those goodies. Maybe after we've read like the origins and stuff like that. Certain character analysis and parallels between like Wheel of Time and the Inheritance Cycle I think would be awesome, because I like now going back and thinking about the Inheritance Cycle, there are definitely things that Paolini used as inspiration for it, and you know, took his own twist on that, and I would love to do that kind of thing. The Fork, the Witch, and the Worm, right now we don't have on the schedule because we have literally been able to slot book club in perfectly in between our traveling.
Yeah.
Obviously, The Fork, the Witch, and the Worm is a very, very short book. It's not that we wouldn't have time to read it. It's that we would have to either do a live stream while we're in LA for that 2 weeks.
I don't think it's long enough to do a stream about it.
I mean, we could definitely get 60 to 90 minutes out. Like, we talk a lot.
Right.
But it is very short, and like it might be its own one-off thing at some point. Again, maybe over the holidays, like something very casual, because that's not a lot of reading for people. But right now, it is not on the schedule. I don't understand why my phone slides off a flat surface.
It's not flat.
What do you mean?
There's nothing about that armchair that's flat. All right. Is there any other wheel? Oh, yeah, there is more housekeeping.
There is.
Yeah, this podcast is brought to you by Misty Mountain Gaming. Misty Mountain Gaming is the best dice accoutrement tabletop RPG company on the interwebs. You want to know why? Because they make good shit. They got stone dice. They got werewolf dice. They got metal dice. They got bone dice. You want ethically sourced, reclaimed bone turned into dice? They've literally got that.
Yeah.
You can roll the bones, much like Willow does in the series Willow.
Have you
not
been,
anymore on
you
Disney
can't watch
Plus.
it anywhere anymore.
That
it's
is
gone
the one.
forever.
That is the one show that we can talk about in the strikes without being promotional, because it doesn't exist.
You can't watch it.
It's literally not there.
That's
That
true.
is so funny. Guys, we should do an entire show about Willow during the strikes, because it is the one thing you can't fucking watch anyway. Anyway,
no.
And look, I say this as someone who didn't like it. I still think it should exist.
Sure,
you know what I mean?
Let people watch it. You spent money on this thing, and now it's just like gone forever into the void. Like, that sucks.
That just dawned on me. You know what? We can talk about that Aquaman, that 4-episode Aquaman cartoon on HBO Max. It just doesn't exist anymore.
It's just gone forever. On that note,
but
actually,
no, wait. But we have to finish this. If you want great dice, go to MissyMountainGaming.com and take 15% off by using the coupon code nerdynightly15. Again, that's nerdynightly15 to get 15% off everything at MistyMountainGaming.com. Misty Mountain Gaming. Their name is Misty Mountain Gaming, and we have a coupon code.
Yes.
It's a weird tagline that they have, but it's functional for content creators.
It works, and we like that.
It's weird when you go to the site and you read the top and it says, our name is Misty Mountain Gaming, and we have a coupon code, and there is no coupon code on the site. You have to, like, hear the tagline on a podcast, but, like, whatever.
Okay, well, there you go. What was I going to say?
I don't know.
We were talking about, we got distracted. Oh!
We didn't get distracted. We were in the middle of an ad read, and then we
started
forgot that
talking
we were in
about
an ad read.
Willow. No. Oh. Good news is that potentially the strike looks like it might be coming to a resolution. They're meeting. There's good things. There's
They're meeting right,
signs.
or like in like an hour.
Yeah. Like things are happening.
It's not going to end today because they have already they've told SAG. I got an email basically saying we're going to meet Friday and we're going to meet Monday.
Yeah.
So like the best case scenario, this strike will end on Monday.
Yeah, best case scenario.
Worst case scenario, it won't.
But like the light is there at the end of the tunnel. No. We believed. We've been so good. Everyone supporting the strike. Thank you so much. Like this has been a crazy time for people. But if the strike ends, you know what that means.
It's great because content creators will finally be able to actually just tweet about shit instead of just tweeting about shit but leaving out a few words and making it vague.
Redacted. Yeah.
There's some people that have skirted the line.
Yeah.
A little bit in a way that I'm like.
Or like fully been like, I know we're on strike, but here is a photo of me promoting. And I
support the strike, but I wanted you to see my Ahsoka photo.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, that's not how that works, but sure. It's fine.
I hope that person doesn't, because you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into your questions about the series. Actually, should we talk about River of Souls first?
Sure, yeah.
River of Souls is fine.
Yeah. It's interesting. Looks cool.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, when was that chapter supposed to be inserted into the book?
idea.
Okay, because that's interesting, because if it comes like before Demandred shows up, it kind of takes away the element of surprise.
Of the Sharans.
Yeah.
100%,
Yeah, and so if it was supposed to come before that moment, I'm actually kind of glad that it's not there, and if it was supposed to come afterwards, I don't know where the fuck it would have fit.
Yeah.
So I get why that chapter is not actually in the books.
It is the most, like, we needed to write a reason why Demandred has the scepter, because it doesn't even really get into why the Sharans follow him all that much. It's mostly like the story of how Demandred found a Terangriel and your Ursa Angriel, and it's like, all right.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
look,
fine.
if there's Dragon Reborn prophecies and people will just follow Rand, I think it stands to reason within this world that there are like
prophecies,
wild prophecies, and that they, you know, if he fulfills them, then they're like, oh yeah, that's our dude. Trollocs, I guess we're friends now. The
one element of River of Souls that I actually think is a little weird is that Demandred frees the slaves in Shara. And it's like, on the one hand, like, Demandred's a bad dude. But on the other hand, Lews Therin doesn't free the slaves. And when I was reading it, and they're like, of course we'll follow you. You freed all of the slaves. You're like, you did great things for Shara. And he's like, I did it to cause chaos.
He also did it for the wrong reasons. So
I get that.
Yeah.
I totally understand that part of it. It is just so funny to me that, like, this series that's about human beings having choice, right? Ultimately, like, the big final button put on the thing is like, no, Dark One, I'm Rand al'Thor, and humans should have choice. I approve this message. But Rand doesn't, in his actions, allow more people to have choices. And because he's Ta'Viren, he actually takes choices away from people throughout the entire series.
People get married without any choice.
Who's supposed to be the evil character, is the one that frees people.
Yeah.
Is like the most, like, sometimes I don't think that the themes of this series were thought out to the actions of the series. It kind of feels like the actions happen and then they were like, and these were the themes. Don't worry about if that makes sense. It doesn't.
Yeah. I'm assuming, so I can't remember if it got into specifics.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming that in Shara, the channelers were also slaves. And that he freed the channelers because of the tattoos, like the same way that the Sanshin kind of have it.
I don't know.
Don't know. Cool. Yeah, I don't know either.
There was another green man, though. So that was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a Jamara, which is another one of Agonor's beasties.
Yeah.
That never came back.
Which was like it was an
You got it
interesting
all.
chapter. Thank you. But yeah, I didn't really like add that much. It was just kind of like, huh.
It
Cool.
was interesting. It was interesting. The like Shendla Demandred relationship is the most interesting part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that the series, that theme of choice, I think that would have been more prevalent and more interesting for this series if all of the people who chose to be evil didn't happen off page. Like, I think that if we had, because I don't think the Mazrim Taim reveal is very well handled. Like, I don't think when Mazrim Taim is like, let the Lord of Chaos rule, and you're like, oh my god, he's a Dark Friend. I was like, oh my god, he's a Dark Friend. I was like, yeah, they've been telling us for books that he's a Dark Friend. And so if you're not gonna make that a big reveal, show us him going down that path.
Right.
So that we can see him make those choices. Because ultimately, like, and I've been kind of talking with this in some YouTube comments and replies this week and stuff. Like, if you took the Forsaken out of these books, if you took the Trollocs out of these books, if you took the Murdral out of these books, if you took out everybody who's Black Aja or of Dark Friend out of the books, right? If you did that and this series about choice, there should be no reason to fight the Dark One, right? Because this series is about the choices that people are making and them having the right to choose.
Okay.
So thematically, that should destroy any reason to beat the Dark One. But in the Wheel of Time, it doesn't. Because more people die on page from random bubbles of evil because the Dark One just exists. So even if you took out all of the people who chose to be evil, you would still, our heroes would still have to go defeat the Dark One and cage him back up because his presence is still killing towns. Like, there are towns of people sinking into the ground. There are beetles coming out of people from the inside. There are pillars coming up out of the ground causing Fail to end up. Like, there is so much evil happening in this world that is killing so many people that has nothing to do with fucking anybody. That's literally random.
Yeah.
That you can't say that all of the reasons to fight the Dark One. And it's why the line at the end of the books where he's like, the Dark One was never the bad guy, or whatever the exact wording is, right? The Dark One isn't the bad guy, he never was.
Right.
That isn't true here because there is a reason they have to go fight him regardless of the choices of mankind.
Right. Yes. The bubbles of evil are a problem. Like, if you just start sinking into the ground, like, that sucks. Or the people of Hinderstap that are like, we have to live in this perpetual hell.
Right. And so I think that, like, thematically, and I don't want to go into it too hard because, like, we've already talked about this, but, like, I've been thinking about it a lot this week.
Full series recap. This is we're here for the themes.
Thematically, that for me is where the ending of the series really falls apart. Is that you have shown us so many reasons why the Dark One has to be stopped that do not involve human beings' choices.
Right.
And, like, Trollocs and Murdral don't have a choice to be evil. Like, that isn't a choice that they have. So their existence, regardless of Forsaken and regardless of Dark Friends, indicates that there is still something that you have to stop. And that isn't reflected in that, like, thematic umbrella that the final lines try to put over the series. They don't really fit.
Yeah.
It's like holding a too small umbrella over your head and the water is still getting on you from, like, the waist down.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, yeah, we did talk about it. Like, I agree that I don't think that the idea that it was all about the evil in the hearts of mankind all along, like, because we even talked about that through the series. I was like, is that what it's supposed to be? Because I don't really get that. And then that's kind of what it ended up being, and I was like, yeah, no, still don't really get that. But we do have one other thing to talk about before we get into the questions.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the Sanderson reveal.
Oh, yeah. How do you feel about Nakomi being the Shadar Haran for the creator? And
I mean, that's just kind of like, sure, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The hearing his reasoning for why he did that, and also the fact that happens in Tel'aran'rhiod, but Aviendha doesn't notice. Whatever. I don't fucking care.
I just thought it was like a normal dream for her. Like, not like Tel'aran'rhiod, but like she like has like.
So Aviendha, who's a talented dreamwalker, doesn't realize she's in a dream?
Well, yeah, because when you're sleeping normally, there's that void with all the lights in it, and you can literally pop into people's like normal ass dreams. And so a god went and popped into Aviendha's dream.
Right, but Aviendha wouldn't be confused about that. Like,
it's God though. I don't know.
Sure. It doesn't matter. It literally
It's
has
fine.
no impact on the series almost at all.
Yeah.
It is just a very weird scene that happens in the middle of a book that you're like, I guess God is here to explain the plot to Avienda. Whatever. Lanfear's still alive. How do you feel about it?
People are saying Avienda isn't a dreamwalker. She enters Tel'aran'rhiod. Like she knows how to go in there and she knows how to use it. So she has to be taken there?
She's trained in how to behave in Tel'aran'rhiod.
Yeah, how does she meet Egwene in there then? Like, how does she go to the meetings when she's by herself?
She's trained in... She can't... She's not a dreamer, but she's trained in the dream, in how to, like, behave there. Okay, yeah. No. She is a Terangrial to get there. I totally understand that I'm not saying that she can, like, pass through the way that other people can, but she is absolutely there.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know what the dream world feels like.
Here's what I think. I think that it is a chapter that has no narrative value because Avienda gets all of that same information. She can come to those realizations herself and not have God tell her.
Well, and Sanderson even said that he like wanted her to show up before that very end moment. And that it's just a chapter written in to be like, Nakomi, and that's it. And that's kind of what it feels like. So,
okay, I used the word Dreamwalker wrong. I understand, chat. We can stop.
Yeah.
I hear you.
She knows how Tel'aran'rhiod works and she's been there before.
Yeah. This is one of those chapters that is it is unnecessary, and I go back that it actually takes away from the Ruidian moment because Avienda already knows the answer from the end of that Ruidian moment because God just told her.
Yeah, it's kind of like telegraphed in a way that makes it less interesting.
Let's move on to the Lanfear reveal.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
It's fine. It's fine. Listening to Sanderson talk about his reasons for it and his foreshadowing for it, I'm like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
It just is another thing that is unresolved at the end of a 14-book series.
Yeah. It's also one of my frustrations with it. Is in his conversation with the innkeeper, Sanderson says that Lanfear has to see Rand is still alive to complete her character arc. And I'm like, so what you're telling me is that in the 15-book series where she's one of the only semi-interesting antagonists, she does not complete her character arc. And like, it really is the problem with the Forsaken as a whole, is that none of them complete their character arc. Like, Demandred never sees Rand. Moradin... Yeah. I guess Moradin kind of completes his... I don't know. Moradin loses, but like Lanfear's character arc is left as a question mark.
Yeah.
Whether or not you believe that she's alive or not, right? Mogideon is enslaved again.
Yeah.
Which yeah, okay.
Which he says is a fate worse than death, and it's like, all right.
It's sort of interesting... it's an interesting thing to be like, we didn't really do anything with any of these villains, but if there were more books, which there aren't going to be, they would get their stories told eventually.
And that's why I'm like, okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't really piss me off because I'm like, yeah, okay, I can see that like Lanfear would try and do something tricksy like that, and it makes sense. She is like, if we are to believe that she's literally the master of Tel'aran'rhiod and she knows how it works better than anybody else, I can see how she would get away with it, but it doesn't, like, mean anything because there is no resolution.
I love this. Huge Robert Jordan move, though, to make something not clear at all, but claim it is obvious enough in the text and canonically established regardless, e.g. who killed Graendal. It also just...
Who killed Asmodean?
It gets into... It's one of those times when it gets into, like, the power scaling of abilities in a way that feels preposterous. That...
Wait, what do you mean?
Perrin could get so good at the dream. That he is better than someone who, like... That he is so far ahead of Egwene in the dream. But that Lanfear is so far ahead of him in the dream... And that Lanfear didn't fuck up the entire plot of everything the whole time. Like, if she is this good in the dream world, what has she been doing for 2 years? The Forsaken...
She wanted Rand to win so they could get married and fuck.
But she didn't do anything in the dream world to that end. Like, Graendal's doing stuff in the dream world, but why wasn't Lanfear fucking torturing the 3 girls in their dreams every night? If that is her goal, if the thing that she wants to do, right, is have Rand be hers, and she'll do anything to do it, and she has this insane ability, this level of ability that even Perrin, who we have seen absolutely masters the dream in the flesh, right? He is so tricked by this.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck was Lanfear doing all this time?
It's a great question.
And so, and it's kind of a problem of like the Forsaken are suddenly good in the final chapter. Is like, okay, well, if they're good now, what the fuck happened for 2 years that these characters were literally incompetent?
Yeah.
Were they waiting for Rand to get good enough for them to like?
Well,
you know what I mean?
And it does bring up the timeline question that we talked about, and chat can help us out with this, I'm sure. But Demandred has been with the Sharans for 2 years, right?
Yeah.
So he has to be like the first person to have been let out.
No, 2 years was when the 2 years is Eye of the World.
I didn't think
It's been 2 years.
It's been 2 full years. Okay.
Because Agenor and Belthamel were already out when they got to Eye of the World, right?
Right. So Demandred went straight to Shara.
Yeah.
He's like, these fuckers, I know how to fuck with them. Okay. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it's a fine reveal. It's something that like
excuse me.
Again doesn't like actually matter to
Here's
the
the thing.
books. It's just like a fun like in a live stream 10 years later to be like, look.
Sure. I think that this reveal would be far more interesting to me if there were a lot of character resolutions at the end of the book. Because right now it just feels like another thread that wasn't resolved, right?
Yes, yeah.
But like every character, like no character, maybe not no character. I feel like most of our characters did not get a satisfying end for me personally at the end of the series.
Yes.
And so Lanfear also having that and having Perrin think he killed her but didn't, like, that is just another loose thread. And I'm like, okay, like it checks out for the Wheel of Time, but I just don't find it that interesting. And so it was like this big reveal and I was like,
yeah, I agree with that.
Sure.
Let's get into your questions, y'all.
Hell yeah.
Relic Hunter asks, you've read the series. Do you think it was worth it?
Yes.
That's so tough because it is really hard to... We have to say yes to that question. Even if we hated the books. Because let's be real, for us, for our channel, for our financial livelihood, for what has changed for us since the Wheel of Time kind of got our channel on the upward trajectory...
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
If we take the books out of it, the Wheel of Time has been such a beneficial franchise for the growth of our company and has made so many things possible for us.
Yeah, for sure.
And I just want to be, I want to be straight up about that.
You guys know we don't fucking mince words. We are very honest.
We have benefited financially from the series in a way that like it would literally be insane for me to say that it wasn't worth it. Because the last 2 years have been, like, the 2 best years of my life. Yeah. You know what I mean? And
a part of that is book club. Even when
huge part of it's book club.
Even when we didn't like the books, right? Like, even when, it felt like a bit of a struggle. Like, the community has been worth it. The growth has been worth it. The like, going to Jordan Con and, like, meeting people. Like, that was, like, the coolest fucking thing.
Getting like, the first, this series, a lifelong dream of mine. From being a young boy going to con was to, at some point in my life, be recognized at a con for my acting or for my art or for something I created. Yeah. And so the first time I got recognized at a con in my hometown in Calgary.
Look, we know who you are. I don't want to like call you out by your name just in case you're like, I don't want people to know where I live.
That's fair. But my first time getting recognized at a con was because of the series, and it like literally made me cry. Like I had like this like lifelong dream come true because of the series.
Yeah. His daughter and his wife were like, don't stop book club. And we were like, don't worry, we're not. And it was like, yeah, we walked away from that experience like being like...
Yeah. And so was it worth it? fuck, of course it was worth it. Like,
Yeah.
do you know how much money we've made?
Yeah, like beyond the words on the page,
Yeah.
it has been worth it on so many levels. Even
Yeah.
even if it was just that it brought me back to reading again,
Yeah.
even that is worth it.
Because I never want to like stop reading again. Like, I never want to lose that part of my life.
Yes.
On top of that, like, The Shadow Rising is still like one of my favorite books ever.
Yeah.
And so, like, yeah,
Worth
no,
it for
I
that.
think like the series for me was worth it.
Yeah.
The next question is a little bit tougher though, which is Blue knows how much money you made.
Thank you, executive producer Blue.
That's so funny. I love the idea that Blue has like a whiteboard in his room where he's like tabulating.
Right.
Relic Hunter says, would you recommend the series?
Which is a great question, and I think that honestly comes with a lot of caveats.
Yeah.
Like, there are people that I would recommend this series to, and there are a lot of people I would not recommend the series to. And even the people I would recommend it to, it's funny, someone posted the video in the Discord, and it was like, would you recommend The Wheel of Time? It's like, yes. But it's like, it's oh my god, there's like terrible shit in it, and it's so long, and it's like blah blah blah, and the person that they're trying to recommend it to is like, so you don't recommend the books? And people are like, no, I definitely recommend the books, but you have to know these about it first. And it's like, it's funny because of how true that is.
I think like 4 chapters from the end,
Uh-huh.
it was a definite yes.
But the fact that you don't feel like it paid off narratively.
And then having read the last chapter and the epilogue, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if someone really liked fantasy, like modern fantasy, and was like, where did this come from? Like, what are the roots of this? I would point them towards this series as a like bellwether for a time in fantasy, and with some caveats.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people I wouldn't recommend this series to.
Yeah.
And so it would have to be someone who like already really enjoys fantasy and is interested in like what inspired Brandon. Like if someone was like, I love Brandon Sanderson, who were his inspirations, I would recommend it to that person.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, no, I think recommendations on The Wheel of Time, especially because of the slavery element, and because of how much like sexual assault there is in it. I mean, guys, like I would have put these books down if it weren't for the show because of the spankings. Literally, like
even
there was
Brandon Sanderson was like, I'm sorry, I have to spank a Forsaken.
Yeah, and like it's a thing, right? Like it's really, and it's the one thing he said in that interview that he would change about the series is when the spanking the Forsaken, right?
Yeah.
It's so much. It's just so much. It's so many women getting assaulted in the middle for so long, and it's weird because it just goes. It like isn't in the first like 5 or 6 books.
Yeah,
but it's a little bit.
It is,
and then there's a period of time in the middle where it's just like women being physically assaulted every chapter.
Yeah.
And
there is that one section.
To no reason, no character growth comes out of it. There's no narrative value. It is just women getting spanked.
And then it takes away from Egwene, like in the tower. And I think that honestly that is like detrimental to the series.
And it would have made me put the series down if I had started it.
Yeah,
and so, you know, I think I would be careful about it, but...
Yeah, that is a tough question. I think we've answered it to the best of our ability.
Yeah, but, you know, I think, the people in my life that I would recommend it to have already read it.
Probably, yeah.
So it's not really something that comes up for me very often.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
Sharon Scout says, this was a fun journey.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
It was.
Congratulations on finishing the series. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This can't realistically be answered, but it's fun to imagine. How different do you think the last battle would have been if had RJ written it, especially considering the way you mentioned the loss of specificity and how it leans on the rule of cool so much? I don't know, because Robert Jordan was not good at writing battles.
What?
He wasn't. He
That is the one thing that we have praised him.
Robert Jordan wrote, like, how do I want to phrase this? I take it back.
Yeah.
Robert Jordan frequently wrote the events in between battles, but not the battles themselves. And so he used the fog of war to have characters not be able to follow the larger battle, and instead really wrote from like a very internal, personalized view. And so I think the difference, sorry, this is what I mean by Robert Jordan never really wrote the full scale of things. And like my complaints about it was like, I was like, I'm really in the moment with these characters, but I don't really understand what's going on the larger scale.
Yes, and we said sometimes that was like a high because it felt chaotic in the moment. But sometimes, and especially for something like I think the last battle, you would need a bit more clarity.
As the battles got bigger, I lost the sense of scale within them. And the one thing about Brandon Sanderson's take on the last battle is I really understood the scale of it.
Right.
And so I think that some of the scale would have been lost, but I think some of the interpersonal moments on the battlefield would have been a lot stronger. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I think
it would have had different strengths if Robert Jordan had wrote it.
Like, because I just think, like, when I think back to some of the larger battles that Robert Jordan wrote, like Dumais Wells or the battle with the Sanchin in the woods. Emmons Field is a little bit different because it was one front. Like,
right.
The Emmons Field battle really was Trollocs against Perrin's front. And so it really worked because the scale of it was it was much simpler. But when I think about the larger battles, it's an interesting. I feel like Robert Jordan writes the like being present in the battle better than Brandon Sanderson does.
Yeah.
But I think that Brandon Sanderson writes the like global view of it better than Robert Jordan does.
Okay.
And so I'm not saying that would have been a better version, but I think that it would have been a very different take on the last battle.
With different focuses as well.
It might have been the same POVs in the same order, right? It just would, I think that like what those POVs were about would have been very different.
Yeah, for sure.
We would have known what every single Trolloc was wearing.
And all the Sharns.
J. Eddie Maldonado. Thank you for that super chat.
Thank you for that super chat. So a game of rock, paper, scissors has decided that we're doing the Cosmere next.
Yes. So we'll get to Stormlight, but I think we're going to start with Mistborn.
Yeah, I don't know what these things mean. I haven't looked up anything about these books. I'm like, are those different series? I don't know how they relate to one another. I'm sure I will find out soon. But thank you.
I don't want to know until we start. I want to go into the Cosmere fresh because I know nothing. I know that there's a character in the Cosmere whose name starts with a K and he's important, and that is literally my entire knowledge. And that's
it. One
of the main characters in the Cosmere's name starts with a K. Mm-hmm. That's it. I have no fucking clue. I don't know what it's about. I don't know anything.
Okay. Yeah, same. I have no idea.
Karen.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Thank you.
But Zimian says the way that Sanderson writes battles makes me visualize a video game or anime. I agree with that, and I see where you're coming from with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's one of those weird things where like I definitely remember loving how Robert Jordan wrote battles, while also feeling like they were chaotic and crazy, and that I didn't fully understand what was going on, which I think was the goal. Yeah. It's fine. You got a lot of experts in chat for Cosmere, so
great. It's gonna be fun. I'm so excited. After the way that Robert Jordan or Brandon Sanderson rather wrote the battle or the use of magic in this, and how everyone says that like creative uses of magic systems is his thing.
Yeah.
That I really love.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to get into it.
Okay. So.
Do you understand where I'm going with this the battles thing though?
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying that either of them is gonna write a better version, and the version that we got of last battle, it's a fucking miracle that it works.
Yes.
It shouldn't.
Agreed.
It should be boring as fuck. But it isn't, and that's a testament to how like big scale Brandon Sanderson's brain works.
Yeah.
I think that I would not have enjoyed Robert Jordan's take on it as much because I would want to understand the bigger scale stuff a little bit more.
Right.
And for the same reason that the Crown of Swords fight with the Sanchin in the mountains, or is that in Crown of Swords, or is that in the next one, Path of Daggers?
In the mountains.
Yeah.
Path of Daggers. No, it's literally Path of Daggers because that is the Path of Daggers in the mountains.
I can't remember.
That's the one thing I remember.
So the fight in Path of Daggers.
Yeah.
I remember being like, this feels so important, and I have no fucking clue where anybody is. They're just in the woods. And I think that Brandon Sanderson's version of that I would have enjoyed more. Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like, maybe Brandon Sanderson's version of, like, Dumais Wells, I don't know if I would have enjoyed more because
I wouldn't have cared.
The Lord of Chaos. Yeah.
Well, and Dumais Wells, I didn't really care about the, like... And Robert Jordan, what? That's not necessarily true about Doom As Wells, because once the Ashaman show up, I feel like Doom As Wells does actually expand a little bit into like what is physically happening.
Yeah. It is one of the coolest sequences I have ever read.
Yeah, so I don't know. I do think we would have gotten a very different last battle. I don't know that it's one that I would have enjoyed more, but I think that it is one that other people would have enjoyed more than I did.
That's fair. Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry to derail for a second, but okay, so for Brandon Sanderson is
what?
People say Mistborn trilogy.
Yeah, the books we have on our shelf.
So that's those 3.
Yeah.
So we're starting with Mistborn. We're doing 3 books.
I don't know. Sure.
So, but the Cosmere is like the world of
Again, we're going to find out in January.
I just, like, I don't even know how many books
Well, the series isn't done yet, so...
I thought Stormlight Archive wasn't done yet. That's a different series.
But that's Cosmere.
It's not a different series.
But
I'm like,
again,
genuinely...
Again, I know there is a character whose name starts with K, and that is the only thing I know. You were trying to get me to explain to you something that I'm telling you I don't have any information about.
I'm wondering if you know, and
I know, but you just brought our conversation back to this.
Yeah.
I don't have any more information for you.
Cosmere
I told you the only thing that I know.
Okay, Cosmere is the universe.
Okay. Oh my God.
Okay, Cosmere is the universe.
We will be talking about the Cosmere in January.
Okay.
Let's talk about the Wheel of Time now.
I just want to understand.
But we're not going to understand until January.
I want to know. No, you're gonna leave me hanging.
I want to talk about the Wheel of Time.
All right, fine. All right.
Do you have your own take on this Robert Jordan Brandon Sanderson last battle question before we move on?
No, I agree with you. I think it just would have been written differently. And some people would have liked it more, and some people wouldn't have, depending on your preference.
I would have preferred it to have happened that way, just so that Brandon Sanderson, or just that Robert Jordan could have finished his series.
Right.
But
yeah,
it would have been longer.
Yeah.
There probably would have been 2 more books, and that might have helped.
Gotcha.
Relic Hunter asks, what is one question you would like to ask Robert Jordan about the Wheel of Time?
Ooh. What would I like to ask Robert Jordan?
Yeah.
Wow.
Who killed Asmodean?
Well, no. I mean, he, like, answered that. I was gonna say the letters, but that was Sanderson.
How many letters?
How many letters did
I feel like,
Matt
honestly,
send Elaine?
My biggest question would be, God, that is so hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard because, like, he didn't finish it, and so many of my questions are like, because this is how it ended, why did you do this?
Has he ever seen snow? That's a good one.
He's never been on a lake as it freezes. That is 100% for certain.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Do you enjoy spanking? Do you wear wigs? Will you wear wigs? My favorite, they revealed Daniel Radcliffe's villain that he's playing in Toxic Avenger, and there was a TikTok where someone is like, is Daniel Radcliffe wearing a wig?
Oh my god. Oh my god. What would I ask Robert Jordan
about the Wheel of Time?
Why did you kill Bella?
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Why was that necessary? Why must you hurt my heart like that? Because Sanderson wanted to have Bella alive, and they said no.
I think that I would ask him, honestly, like, why is there so little death in the series? Like, why did you wait until the last battle for there to be any, like, real stakes for our main characters?
Is it a zebra? That's a good callback. That's a good
it's
one.
pronounced zebra, so just saying.
Oh my god.
According to the Wheel of Time companion, Bella unaccountably survives. Sure, because why should anything in this series matter? Like, this is a series. I'm sorry, but this is a series where, like, years later, don't worry, there were never actually any stakes to begin with, and like stop it. Stop. Just let things fucking die. It's okay for things to die. That's what we care about. It allows us to have an emotional connection to the stakes of the series. Stop with this fucking, like, I don't want to say cuck, but it's like cuck behavior to be like, I want all of my good guys to be okay at the end of...
Why is it cuck behavior? Why are you kink shaming people?
Look, okay, you're right. I'm just trying to be funny, but but the truth is, like, I'm like, and it goes back to the Lanfear thing. Let characters kill things. It is exhausting. And this series is the worst I've ever read for it. To tell me that this is 15 books of war and the only time main characters are actually in danger is right at the end. And now I don't buy any of it. I'm like, is Egwene dead? I don't fucking know. There's no body.
Well, and the other thing as well is that, like, even Sanderson is like, this is my headcanon.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote it, it's in the series, but it's like my headcanon. And that's such a weird thing to parse out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to feel about the actual, like, written word of the series if it's not... It's a weird thing to say. I don't know what to make of it. I'm like, your headcanon as the author should be canon, but for some reason it's not, and it's very confusing.
James Ross says Nerdy is using edgelord words now. I'm trying to, I was just making a joke. I'm not using it. I'm not using it seriously.
No, I know.
I know many cucks. They're wonderful people.
Funny to call you out, you know. I like to bully you. Yeah, you know what? I would ask Robert Jordan if a razor is a zebra.
No.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I just... Bazimian says, honestly, I think the reason why he had issues with major character design was because of his blood disease. It could have been a visceral thing for him given his own life.
Maybe, and if that was the answer that was given, like, I think that would be, like, an interesting conversation with him.
That would be interesting.
It's just one of those things
One Piece
where, like...
is absolutely Nerdy's therapy time.
Oh, yeah, 100%. One day I'm gonna stand outside and, like, just voice record you, like, reacting to One Piece without the One Piece in it. It's hilarious.
Why? That's what I post on the internet.
That's true. That is on Patreon. But
no, it's also on the YouTube channel. The One Piece cuts out and it's just me, like...
Yeah, I guess. That's fair. Yeah. It's one of those things where Robert Jordan wrote a world that is so dark in so many other ways, but the death is so tepid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, yeah, I would love to know. Why, Tuan?
Why slavery? One Piece is just so well written. It's just so well written. It's brilliant. And, like, it's not paced very well. I agree with that. Like, I think the pacing of the show isn't great, but the writing is so strong.
Yeah.
And, like, the thematic ideas of it and the way it explores relationships. Because, like, Wheel of Time is not good at relationships. It's not good at friendships. It's not good at dating. It's not good at marriage. It's
the
not even
off page.
Not even particularly good at, like, villain-hero relationships.
That's true. I think Brandon Sanderson does some work to redeem the, like, Rand Moradin relationship a little bit, because it definitely is kind of nothing in the middle. But yeah.
So Jimmers, why did you write Tuon to be black? Because if it was a white slaver with an American accent
who absolutely loved slavery, well,
I'm having a rough day. I'm gonna go to my secondary throne in the slave room so that I can feel better, because watching people be broken, that's what brings me joy.
Yep, yeah, love that for us. Anyways,
that's still, like, that's not even the worst slavery moment in the series.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to turn off stream remote so I can read the names.
Oh, like this, because the worst one is Matt in is that in A Memory of Light or is that in Towers of Midnight?
What part?
With the Dakoval, where he's like, well, if I wasn't supposed to look, she wouldn't be dressed nakedly.
Memory of Light, I believe. Yeah.
Like what the fuck was Brandon Sanderson thinking?
Maybe
that wasn't Robert Jordan.
How do you know?
Because Brandon Sanderson at least had to edit it, and Harriet had to edit it. Like, multiple people went, you know what? It's cool that Matt sexualizes a literal slave right at the end of this series. That's fine.
Yeah. Not my favorite moment from our boy.
Yeah, it's not my favorite moment from anything ever. So.
Yeah, that's fair. H Green asks, how do you think the character splits for the streams? Sorry, how do you think the chapter splits for the streams and the reactions affected your enjoyment of the series?
I don't think there was ever going to be a right way to do it.
Yeah.
So
that's fair. I think that unfortunately it highlighted the issues with the series.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm not going to say unfortunately. I actually think that like shining a light on the specificity of a narrative and themes and things that are problematic so that we can do better in the future. I don't think that is an unfortunate thing. I think that it definitely affected our experience of it. I'm one of those readers that just like go, and there are things that I for sure would have glossed over. And in a sense, I'm kind of glad that I didn't, because it brought a level of critical thinking to this that I do enjoy. Like I enjoy talking about things on a deeper than surface level.
Yeah.
And I think that that's why you guys are still here after all of this, is that you do too, because at the beginning of book club there were a lot more people that watched our stuff, and I think that they were kind of expecting like, yeah, this is great, this is good, awesomeness, and like keeping it like above board. And our kind of content, we're not interested in keeping it like that. We want to get into the nitty gritty of it, even if that means shining a light on things that maybe aren't the best.
I wouldn't have wanted to go any faster.
No, gosh.
It's so much.
It is a lot.
But I also like, because like, is it Wheel Reads? They do like 2 chapters a week.
Oh, yeah, fuck.
That would kill
oh, my
me.
God. I would die. I don't know how to do it.
I would literally die. I would be
Crossroads of Twilight at 2 chapters a week.
I know. They're going to be covering Crossroads of Twilight for like 2 years. I know.
No.
I was literally like, you guys are in. When I finished Crossroads of Twilight, my first
Wheel Weaves, yeah.
Wheel Weaves. I was looking at them like, you guys are fucking crazy.
I'm so sorry for you.
I know. Marique, thank you so much for that super chat.
Oh my gosh.
I started reading in grade 11, and when done, was well established in my career and married with 3 kids. It's amongst my favorite media in any format, and I find it hard to be objective about its flaws. You've made the discussions always enjoyable. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm glad you feel that way.
We try.
We do try.
I don't know if we always succeed. We're only human, and we just do our best. But
And sometimes I like, go a little hard, and I understand that. And you know what, chat?
It
I'm
happens.
not sorry.
No, seriously. Thank you for that super duper chat. That's
very
incredible. Sweet. That is a long journey. I'm curious if you
Are your kids' names Rand, Matt, and Perrin?
God.
Can you imagine?
There's a porn star on Twitter that I follow, and her dog's name is Pips. What? What?
Just came out of fucking nowhere. Okay.
No, she's a big Wheel of Time fan, and I always love when she tweets about her dog Pips, because it just like I think it's cute. What? I think name your pets after things that you love. I get it. But yeah, thank you so much for that super duper chat. Samantha as well. Thank you for that super chat. What did you think of the narrative promise of when the Sanshin find out that Soldam can channel, their empire will crumble, meaning absolutely nothing? I felt duped as a reader. Yes.
Why do you think? Yeah.
Yes.
Remember, like 4 books ago, when I was like, if
yes, London is that's what it is.
If there's no resolution to the Sanshin, I will never read the series again. I probably will never read past book 5 or 6 again. I'll read Shadow Rising again in my life. It's too good a book not to.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm never gonna read the back half of Wheel of Time again. It's a lot of stuff I don't want to read to get to a resolution that doesn't pay off.
Honestly, I would read Gathering Storm again. That book, fantastic. But yeah, I think I'll just mostly stick to the first half.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the Sanshin crumbling would have been fucking awesome. It would have been so much more thematically interesting than what we got, which was they fucked off and then came back and then threw their animals at the Sharans and then they were done.
Yeah.
And then Matt is now under threat of being able to be murdered because Tuan's pregnant.
Yeah, they could have done...
Thematically, the Sanshin don't do anything in the final book, so it's like, whatever.
Like, here's the thing. You could have inserted anything into the very end of this book, right? Maybe Tuan, because she knows that she can be a Soldam, maybe Tuan gets pregnant and is like, oh shit, what if my child can channel, and like has a moment. Like, literally, like, anything. Yeah. Like, anything. I would have taken fucking crumbs.
Matt's sisters can both channel.
True.
So if Tuan, like, but again, that would involve this series acknowledging that Matt ever mentioned his sisters to Tuon, which I don't know that he did.
I doubt it.
Which he probably
I don't
didn't
think
because
they
they
know
can channel,
anything
right?
about one another
Like,
except horses.
They've literally, like, these characters don't trust each other.
Yeah.
They're married because Tuon is hot when she enslaves women. And
Yeah.
so
like a leopard.
the element of this series where these characters have communicated at all with one another and have a real relationship doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And so them suddenly having that moment at the end would be very weird.
Or giving us the conversation with Arthur Hawkwing.
Yeah.
That could have been 2 pages, and like I would have been so happy. Like just giving anything that the world might turn towards something better.
Wait, Michael Kioski just fixed the Wheel of Time. At the end of A Memory of Light, Doc Brown shows up and tells Rand, "It's your kids, Rand. Something's got to be done about your kids.
Marty!
The one power.
God damn.
Where we're going, we don't need the one power.
Pulls up in a DeLorean.
Highway to the danger zone."
Oh man, fixed it, guys. Michael Kioski is a literary wizard. Well done, well done.
Can you imagine?
That would have been hilarious.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Just anything to do with the Sanjin would have been so nice.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I know it's not mentioned, but it is my headcanon that to become a hero of the Horn, you actually have to be a good person, and that Arthur Hawkwing, like, you know, learned the error of his slavery ways. Well, no, he didn't enslave the women. He just killed them all. He just killed them all.
But they were also at war with them in a way that, like, they're not in this time, right?
Yeah. You know, like, Arthur Hawkwing has had lifetimes upon lifetimes to reflect on his behavior.
And also, like, the Hawkwing that was alive is not the same as the Hawkwing in the dream world.
Yeah, because he's fighting alongside Aes Sedai. You know what I mean? Like there is just no way that is the same person. And having a character be like, look, this is a bit of a cheat code, but I'm gonna give you my decades and centuries of wisdom on
But if you're
people.
not gonna do that, what's the point of having the wheel? Like,
what is the point of having the wheel? If you can't learn from the people in their past lives, and if that affects nothing moving forward, then it's kind of, okay,
here's the thing.
Moradin was right. No.
This is where the Wheel of Time, being Eastern philosophy, and the Creator and the Dark One relationship being Judeo-Christian philosophy don't match up, right?
Yeah.
Because the idea behind the cycle of rebirth is that you are trying to become better so that at some point you reach enlightenment, right?
Yeah.
And that there is a inherent value in living your life better because it will increase your chances of being turned out better, not just being turned out different, right? That there is a potential of like
if you do good in your
growth.
life, if you try to live your life as a good person,
yeah,
that hopefully those like tendencies will follow you into your next life, because otherwise I don't really get the idea of reincarnation.
Yes.
It's like, okay, yeah, I was a bumblebee in my past life. That doesn't mean anything.
But the Wheel of Time takes that, but puts it underneath the more important Judeo-Christian battle above it.
Of God and the devil.
And so you end up in this weird thing where, like, the wheel is not the wheel is not the goal. The wheel is a creation of God.
Yeah.
And the devil is trying to influence God's creation.
Yeah.
And so it is less about the interpersonal lives of the people on the wheel than it is with how they react. And so it just becomes Judeo-Christian again, rather than putting the wheel above the Creator and the Dark One, which would create a different kind of pyramid, but would involve a very different kind of storytelling than what this book is,
right.
Which is just another Jesus story, because Rand is just Jesus. Like, he just is, right? Yeah. All the way through Veins of Gold being like his tests in the 40, you know what I mean? Like it's such a Christian allegory that wants to play with Eastern mysticism, but in a way that it doesn't fully understand. And so that gets very confused, particularly at the end of the series.
Yeah.
When Jesus is suddenly saying, but Buddhism is the way. And you're like, well, that doesn't really work.
It doesn't tell anybody. And keeps that information to himself.
Samantha A says, well, you can't top Jesus, which is not true because Jesus is a bottom.
Jesus is a bottom. 100%.
You know Avienda wore the strap-on grial.
Absolutely. Are you kidding me? Yeah, no. Avienda is not a bottom. She tops Elaine and Rand at the same time.
Yeah. Wheel of Time fan edit says the series is 14 plus 1 books. If you had the option, would you, and how would you condense it? Fuck. I wouldn't.
Wheel of Time fan edit would ask that. Very clever.
I wouldn't because there is no conclusion to the series right now that is worth condensing down to make the rest of it fit that better. Like, you would have to rewrite the whole... If I could take stuff from
the middle and tack it onto the end... Like, if I could take time out of the middle, and that means we would get more epilogue, and, like, what happens afterwards, then I would do that.
The length of the series isn't a problem. It is the content of the series not matching with, like, the themes of the series at times, and the dragging in the middle. Like,
see, I think the middle books are definitely too long for the things that happen in them. I think, like, you could easily take out probably a full book's worth of stuff between 7 and 11.
Sure, I just don't think that makes any of it better. It just makes it shorter.
Yeah.
Like, you're still getting to the same conclusion, just with less in the middle.
Yeah, yeah.
And, like, you can do that, but then you're just cutting people's, like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you.
I think that if you were to... The only condensing I would do is that I would move the writing that exists around so that the timeline in the middle doesn't get so weird. Like, I would set up the book so that some conclusions happen together, so that there's a little bit more, like, thrust into the finales of some things.
Yeah.
I would just like foreshadow things better. Like, I think that if I were to rewrite the Wheel of Time, but I had to keep the events, like, why Rand believes the events of the cleansing would work, I would find a way to foreshadow that, because I don't hate the scene. I think the chapters around the cleansing are very good. I just think that it comes out of fucking nowhere, and it still doesn't make sense at the end of the series. Well, how that was supposed to function.
It doesn't. I don't really get how it functions either. But Rand does take inspiration from the wounds in his side.
That doesn't. But here's the problem: the wounds are coexisting. So, like, that doesn't even make sense, because the wounds don't cancel each other out.
Right.
Like, if the wounds canceled each other out, if they, like, that would actually be really interesting. If he got the second wound... If
when he got tried to heal by Flynn, if when Flynn tried to heal him, and it kind of, he, like, instead, like, meshed them together with the power, and they, like, I mean, you know, he'd lose his ribcage, but...
1,000%. That would set up, if the wounds fought each other and disappeared, then the Mashadar destroy the taint would 1,000% make sense.
Right.
Instead, those wounds exist the entire time.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
Rereads, you see it, Kevin. I don't think that it would.
I think you see it if you think that them, like, constantly fighting one another, like, works for you as foreshadowing.
But they don't fight each other. They just both hurt Rand. They're not. The two wounds don't impact each other at all. They just both exist. And so Taint and Mashadar should both exist. Like, to say that because he has both wounds, that should imply that the cleansing works is it does that's not foreshadowing, because the two wounds are fine together.
Yeah, they coexist.
They work.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's fair. I think it's kind of. I think it's a little bit weak in the way that we thought, like, you know, the Perrin, like, axe hammer metaphor was, like, a little bit weak. It's like, I see what you were going for there, but when you really dive into it, it doesn't quite.
Well, the problem with the axe and the hammer is that we don't get any of Perrin after the war is over. True. And so we only see Perrin pick up the hammer and do all the fucking things he would have done with the axe. Right. Like, there is no fundamental difference between Perrin's actions with Mahalanir and with his axe. There just isn't. He's still killing the same people he would have killed in the same fights he would have been in. Right.
If we had gotten his resolution at the end of the series where he was able to put away his hammer and stop fighting.
Yes.
That would have been cool.
Or if at any point in the series Perrin had de-escalated a situation without violence, at any point. And I guess he does with the White Cloaks, kind of.
His trial is kind of that. But then again, he says he'll, like, pay for it later on.
But even in that trial, he says, if you disagree with me, I will kill you.
Yeah.
Like, even Perrin is like, I hope that you agree, but I am gonna fucking murder you if you don't, is, like, not the best.
Yeah. There are a couple, metaphors that just don't 100% work all the way through.
Sean is like, but now he has a magic murder hammer. Yes.
And thank God he does for those dark hounds, because, damn.
Methany's cat, what's up, Sammy?
Hey, Sammy.
Says Paddon Fane's ending is pretty much universally disliked, including by Sanderson, which I find interesting.
Yes, we talked about that. He said he wished that it had gone differently, but yeah.
But a more controversial one is Loghain's.
Wait, what?
Is Loghain's ending controversial?
He's the only one that actually has a full arc and an ending.
Yeah. A lot of people argue that Andrel sort of stole his screen time and Loghain deserved more. Personally, I love Andrel, as I know you do, but how do you feel about this overall? I agree. Like, I think that you could cut Andrel, give all of that to Loghain, and the series would be more interesting.
I think that, Loghain suddenly having a talent with gateways would really fuck things up.
Yeah, but you could just have him be good at gateways because he's powerful. Like, you could literally cut it out. It doesn't need to be a talent.
But then he's not almost turned, and he doesn't,
But all of that happens. Andrel's literally in the room when all that happens. Like, Andrel and Loghain are in the room together for that. And then instead of getting Andrel's POV, we could have gotten more. We could have gotten Loghain's POV of it happening. Pavara could have just been one of Pavara and Loghain could have fallen in love. Like, you can cut Andrel and Loghain. You can mesh those two into one person so easily because they only have 2 scenes together. And then you kind of cut out Andrel showing up and being the best character.
But then you wouldn't.
I think the show will mix them together.
Maybe. You wouldn't have Loghain looking for the scepter while Andrel is comes to warn him about the children being slaughtered and Loghain having making that choice.
But you can make just someone come tell Loghain that the children are being slaughtered without it being Andrel. He's there with a bunch of Ashaman. The Ashaman can still push, and Loghain can have side characters that are Ashaman. You just give all of the narrative time to Loghain. The one thing that you can't do is Andrel walks up and magically steals the fucking seals of the Dark One's prison from Mazrim Taim's waist, which I still hold is one of the dumbest things I've ever read in my life. I hate that scene with a passion.
I thought it was hilarious.
But I don't want it to be funny.
Right.
I don't want a Looney Tunes reason at this point in the series.
Yeah.
From a person who is never shown to be a thief. Again, if Vannon had done it, I'd buy it, right?
Yeah, it's one of those things, though, with Loghain, where I think maybe Sanderson just didn't want to, mess around with Jordan's previously established characters.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that does need to be taken into consideration. I hear what you're saying. I think you can definitely give Andrel stuff to Loghain, and maybe they will in the show. And it doesn't, matter, really. But I do not think that Loghain's, arc and ending is controversial. It is probably my favorite in the entire series.
I agree with you. I just think he could have been given more time.
Yeah, sure.
Because there's a large chunk where Loghain just disappears. Oh, shit. I'm working on it.
You said there's a part where Loghain disappears, which...
There's just a large section where Loghain just disappears, and then it's he was captured off screen at some point. And you're like, I guess he was. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the same thing happens to Alana, right? Where it's they disappear for a while, and then the next time we see them, they were captured somewhere. And, we don't even know where they were when they were captured.
True, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a thing that happens multiple times in the end of the series, is that these important characters just kind of end up captured somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's fine. It is fine that all that happens off page, but that's stuff that could have happened on page, and it would have made Loghain's seeing Loghain's capture and him fighting against being captured would have been great for his character, but we just don't get that time with him.
Yeah.
And it's fine, but I agree. I think that time could have been shown.
Yeah, that's fair.
Over time, this is another Methany's cat question. Over time, the Shadow set up long-term plans. Most of them, at least partially, blow up in their faces, like the compulsion of Jane Farstrider and sending him to set up one of the lures for the Eye of the World.
Wait, I'm sorry, what?
What? Most of them, at least partially, blow up in their faces, like the compulsion of Jane Farstrider and sending him to set up one of the Eyes of the World.
One of the lures? What?
They compulsed Noel?
What lures? What does that mean?
I have no idea. I have no idea what that means. I'm so sorry, Methany. I literally don't understand. Um, is there something who you think was initiated by the Shadow or a plan that you find particularly interesting? For me, it has to be Ishamael's compulsion of Arthur Hawkwing and its far-reaching consequences. I wish they got into that more, honestly.
Yeah, like I wish we'd had that moment at the end with Arthur Hawkwing and Tuon to be like, look, the Shadow influenced me, and by influencing me has influenced my children and their generations, and in turn you, and I'm here to tell you, you're wrong.
Yeah.
That would have been great.
Yeah, apparently this is a deep in the weeds fan theory. Jane was a tool of Ishii before we met him. Was he?
What?
The guy who went to setting and told the Ogier about the Eye, which was a rumor, which then reached everyone, was Jane?
Personally, Ogier heard the rumor of the Eye of the World. Wait, the Eye of the World is a rumor?
But there's prophecies about it.
Yeah. Isn't that...
Huh. Okay, cool. Sure.
Yeah, that is news to me.
I don't understand that though. So if you know there's a giant pool of Sidin that Rand can wield, why would you point him towards it?
So that he starts going mad?
Okay, but Agenor and Belthamel died. I don't know. That seems like a pretty terrible fucking plan.
That's why it says the blue plans blew up in their faces.
That's also how they get the eye. That's how they get the horn and the banner to use it.
Yeah, that seems like a terrible plan.
Ishamael, the Forsaken are so fucking incompetent that, like, Ishamael was like, hey, Jaren Farstrider, I need you to go tell the heroes where the instruments of our destruction are. It would be like if Palpatine was like, hey, what the fuck is the pilot's name in fucking Rogue One? I need you to go tell this guy's daughter how to blow up the Death Star.
Yeah.
I need you...
I'm not gonna lie, that makes no sense to me at all.
To free the Forsaken? The Forsaken were already free,
yeah,
James.
Ishamael is already out.
Agenor and Belthamel are already out.
They're already out. There. I don't... Yeah, I think that whoever set that up, Ishamael, you fucking idiot. That's a terrible plan.
The Shadow couldn't find the Eye because it's magically not in the same place. So Ishii set up Rand to need to go there so that A and B could follow and try and take the Eye for themselves. Why? But why? Why was Rand able to find it, but they weren't?
Yeah, if you can only have gone there once, they can't magically follow Rand there because that is literally how the Eye of the World works. You magically get there. You just don't. Like, how
so
far
Agenor and
would they
Belthamel
have
had to have never been there before.
They had to have never been there before, and they have to have been, like, I don't know, within, like, 10 feet of him? Like, I don't understand how that works.
Sure. Their plans suck. So, 9 months after the last battle, is the population of Randland higher than before it started? No. It's very low. It's bad.
Well, no, 9 months. You got to give it at least 3 more months for the babies to be born.
It doesn't. No, that doesn't matter. The amount of food that's left in Randland, the like harvesting cycles. You have to imagine, like, they have to start the harvest and grow, and that's assuming they even have seed to use, right? Just like logistically from a farming level, the amount of time it's going to take to build up enough food to support the level of pregnancy in the country, like it's going to take a couple of years.
Yeah, and I'm assuming, like, 70% of the population is dead.
Oh, no, there's like, the thing that this book doesn't talk about is how immediately after the last battle, there is an ongoing famine for at least a year. Because the seasons are fucked up and the world has to heal.
I was going to say, Rand can just go, and the apples will grow, but he fucks off, so... Yeah.
Like, the world is fucked, and, like... I think that the only reason I think about it this way is because I grew up around farms and working on farms, and like because I'm from the part of the world that creates food, my brain goes, all right, so if we look at a grain harvesting cycle,
it's defined. Loyal's just gonna sing it.
Yeah, okay, but you only have a single, like, you only have like one steading of Ogiers, right?
And plague. Yeah, honestly, with the amount of dead bodies and dead Trollocs, people are probably very ill.
Yeah, but like in terms of things will get better a decade on from this, things are probably okay. But like you're looking at
It
like
takes
at
some years
least
of recovery.
5 years
Yeah.
of healthy grain cycle to get your
But Rand grew a bunch of plants at Shale Ghoul.
Sure, but you have to move those, right?
No, I know. Yeah.
It's you have a really tough and that's probably why the books didn't want to get into it, right? But you have a really tough road ahead of you in terms of repatriating people to the countries they're from.
Yeah.
Finding people land to work, finding people who want to work the land, who have the strength to work the land.
The Sanchener are the only one who survived because Matt heard Rand sing the song. So he just grows some.
It's actually it is an interesting, like you could write a really interesting book about the logistics of recovery for the land and for farming and for like repopulating cities.
You could write a textbook.
And like repopulating like the food stores of those cities. You could write a really interesting story about like the emotional weight of it, right?
Sure, yeah.
You would have to frame the book from the point of like Elaine and some of these characters who are a little bit more tied in. And the emotional toll of, because I think we're seeing this right now, right? And not to make this too dark, but I was listening to a podcast, The Daily did an episode about coral and how coral is dying. And the emotional weight that the people who are trying to save the coral reefs in Florida are under trying to save the coral from the rising sea temperatures.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's really heavy and it's tough. And like, it would be a depressing book at first, but there is a light at the end of that tunnel. Less so for the coral, but there would be a light at the end of the tunnel for them as they are like watching thousands and millions die as they are working to make sure that the next generation doesn't face the same thing.
Yeah.
And you could write a very interesting but also very dark and sad book about that. But
yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. But you know, like
That's
grain cycles are really like the way that you treat your soil to get a good grain cycle is hard. It's not as simple as just putting seed in the ground and water. Like it is about how you remove it and how you replant and when you replant, and all of that has been thrown off for 2 years at this point. And everything is dead. And so like you're going to have to go around and dig up all of those dead roots, get all of that out of your soil, replant your soil, refertilize your soil, get those grains moving again.
Yeah.
Like they've got a lot of work ahead of them, and they don't have a lot of livestock producing manure to create that fertilizer. So like there's a lot of work left to get the world going again. And
True.
There could be an interesting story there.
Yeah. No, I think that's fascinating. I honestly like did not think about it, but you're right. Randland has got some dark years ahead of it for sure.
But yeah, the honestly, you're gonna have a lot of pregnancies in those 9 months. You're gonna have a lot of miscarriages. Like there's just not gonna be enough.
Here's the thing: unless like the fish were never affected, because we never heard anything about the we never heard anything about like the ocean temperature like changing.
Sure, yeah.
Like the sea folk might actually have an abundance of food. I feel like they would have shared it at this point.
Yeah, but the level of refrigerate. Well, yeah, I guess you could move it from the docks with the one power.
Yeah, I'm like, you know, like the fish might be fine, and maybe everyone just like eats sushi for the next 5 years. But I'm gonna hold that hope that they're okay with it.
Yeah, it's interesting. It would be an interesting exploration. Like obviously,
Swan died, so no one knows anything about fish anymore.
There's a level of one power that like you can overcome a lot of that, but certainly not enough to like have channelers everywhere doing it, right? So it's not impossible. It's just that the world has a rough couple of years ahead of it to get the economics moving, right? Like those things just take time. They just do, right? Look at how the tale of the 2008 housing market, how long it took everything to get going again, even after the economy had recovered a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's because getting the motion of goods in motion again involves you hiring the truck company, and then the truck company getting enough jobs that it gets another truck. And like those kind of things take time to kind of build back up.
Right.
And so 5 years, 10 years down the road, you're going to see a lot of change. But like that first year is going to be rough.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
It's going to be rough.
Yeah. Melanie also says, sorry, my cat has a dark sense of humor. Or, sorry, Methany. Mods, those were 3 questions, 3 messages.
Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay.
Iltwam says, do you consider the Lanfear reveal to be canon even though it's stupid and doesn't make any sense? Or do you, like me, consider someone else's headcanon theory about which the author is all, yeah, I was thinking of that, but didn't bother to actually put it in the book, to be open to interpretation and relegated to personal headcanon territory? I think that it is canon.
Here's the thing. Everything that Brandon Sanderson added, he says is his own headcanon. So it
But the Lanfear thing is canon. That's from Harriet. They said that in the interview.
I thought he ran it by Harriet, and she was like, yeah.
No, the Lanfear reveal is canon. Because they would have been dealt with in the Outrigger books.
Yeah.
Which aren't about slavery, by the way. Everyone was like, this is going to be dealt with in the Outrigger books. All the Outrigger books is that Perrin is going to go kill Matt, and Matt wakes up in a ditch and is like, oh no, my luck ran out. That's literally all that those two sentences are.
Yeah.
Those books were not about curing the way in which Brandon Sanderson and Robert Jordan wrote slavery.
Yeah.
And I don't know that they would have.
Oh, isn't there a thing... Did I miss it? I'm remembering there was a thing about the ways being cleansed. Is that like a chapter or like a side
chapter
story
he wanted to
or
write
something?
that he cut.
That he cut. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe chat can shed some light on that.
I don't really know why you would do that. I don't know where it would go.
I mean,
it just isn't really like relevant to the events of the last battle. If it's something that
maybe
Rand
why
did
it's not there.
after, I could see it, but like, why would you cleanse them?
Yeah, because also Sanderson also like believes that like Rand comes back and is a dad and whatever, and I'm
to
like,
the kids he forgot about.
Where is that in the epilogue at all?
Oh, it was a cut chapter that was published as... Oh, it's published.
It's a short story. Okay, interesting. Okay.
I guess once you have channeling, like, why do you care about the ways? Like, they're moving people so effectively with Waygates in the last battle. Like, when would they have done it? You would have to do it in, like, the Gathering Storm. I think that once you get to A Memory of Light, it's too late to, like, go on another side quest. Although Fael goes on a side quest.
A lot of the channelers are dead, and not everyone can create gateways. So the ways, I think, are just another tool to maybe help move food around the country and like help.
Except you know that there are hundreds of thousands of Trollocs in them.
Well, no. If they cleanse the ways, like if they like.
But cleansing the ways doesn't remove the Trollocs. It just removes Machin Shin.
Oh, I just assumed that you kind of just like lit it on fire and everything like died and kind of was reborn. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know.
I don't know. It doesn't happen.
Why those Trollocs would still be in the ways though? Because the last battle.
That's how they're moving around.
Yeah, but they should be out of the ways and fighting by now.
But I don't know. I'm assuming people are they're still moving things in the ways, right?
They just didn't get the memo. They're like, oh shit, we're missing the last battle, guys. We gotta hurry up.
No, it's cleansing the ways of Trollocs. It was a cut concept where Perrin closes the Caemlyn Way Gate.
Oh.
Yeah, I just don't... I can see the value of that after the last battle, but they've already given up on Caemlyn, so I don't really know...
Yeah, it doesn't... Yeah, I can see why it's cut.
I don't know what it does.
I can see why it's cut. Yeah.
It messes up the timeline, but Perrin needs to go stop the Trollocs from continuing to reinforce. I mean, they give up on Caemlyn so fast, so I don't know.
Yeah, I can see why
I see why it's cut.
Anyway, sorry, back to Ilgeram's question. I feel like we've talked about this reveal.
Yeah.
Hearing Brandon Sanderson talk about it, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's kind of cool, but it doesn't matter, and it doesn't mean anything. So
it also just, like... I actually really liked the idea that in her desperation, Lanfear turned to Perrin because, like, getting out of her problems using the idea of being with a man is sort of her, like, weakness. And it being just her manipulating Perrin is kind of a less interesting version of that to me.
Yeah, fair.
Because, like, it implies that she thinks that... I don't know. I don't really know what it says about Perrin. And also, Perrin killing a woman is more interesting if he actually did it and has to live with the consequences of it. But, like, Perrin finding out that he didn't actually kill Lanfear is like, all right, well.
Yeah, because he says, I'll, like, bear that burden for Rand, and then he doesn't actually have to. I also, like, I'm pretty sure when we read that moment and we talked about it last week's book club, I didn't really like it. When I didn't know that Lanfear was alive, I was like, I actually really don't like this moment because I think Lanfear is a more interesting character if she, like, doesn't really want to be a dark friend anymore. Like, if she's, like, if there's more complications there, and her just dying kind of was like, okay, yeah, whatever. So her being alive, I don't hate it. I really don't. I know a lot of people do.
It depends on if she goes on to continue to be the villain in the Outrigger books.
But it doesn't matter.
But it doesn't matter, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the problem, is it doesn't matter.
All right, Skeptical Mario says, I'll give you $2 for every character you get in the quiz. Will you stream taking it? Do you think that we could do this at the end of our stream today, or should we do this at another stream?
Well, let's get through the questions.
And then we'll see.
And if we haven't done 3 hours yet...
Skeptical
be
Mario,
fun.
this will either be another stream or we might do this at the end of today's stream. But we're not going to do it right this second because I want to make sure that we do get to everything that people have asked.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
Ferdawoon. Oh, wait. Christian Rapper says, Ranton Moore says, I don't see any difference apparent between killing her versus thinking he did. Because if he fights her again in the Outrigger novels, it like takes away from this moment if he then finds out later he didn't actually do it.
Which it kind of seemed like
Because
Sanderson thought was going to be the case.
This is the closest thing we get to like a resolution on Perrin's character arc, which is that he's supposed to choose nonviolence and he murders a woman at the end. So his whole like not being violent hammer versus axe thing is like completely tossed away in this end of his character.
Yeah.
And then for him to find out that not only did he throw away his character arc at the very end to kill another person, he didn't even actually do that. He just thought that he did. And so he threw away his character arc because he got tricked, because he doesn't know the dreaming well enough for Lanfear. Like it's a hat on 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 a hat. And Perrin's arcs of like, I need to learn to be a leader over and over and over again, but also like his like violence versus not violence.
And here's the thing.
Like, it's just like,
here's the thing.
What you kill somebody with doesn't fucking change that you are killing people.
But also, the wolves know, do they call her Moon Hunter, I think?
Yeah.
The wolves know her very well.
Yeah.
It stands to reason Perrin would find out she's still alive
pretty
quickly. If she goes back into Tel'aran'rhiod, at least. Because the wolves will fucking know that it's her, right? Like, doesn't matter.
Ferdawoon says, I've asked this once before, but now that you finished the series, it would be interesting to see if you've changed your minds. If you could funnel the show budget into one event from the books, which event do you feel would be most important in order to drive forward character development, drive story development, hook the watchers, and just in general be an event that you feel is important and worth being a bit extra cool? Which event is just too good, important to cut or merge into something else? Which event deserves to be most similar to how it is portrayed in the books? Don't limit yourself to what you think is feasible to achieve. Go ham. The last time we chose the cleansing.
Yeah.
And you chose Ruidian.
Yeah, which, like, here's the thing. If you are looking for the show to hook people in, both of those things are too far into the series.
Yeah, it has to be the Battle of Emmonsfield.
That is the same book as Ruidian. That's book 4.
That's next season, though. Because season 1 and 2 have already happened.
That's season 3, though. Look, okay, I'm gonna.
But I'm saying that season 1 and 2 are already out.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you 2 answers. I'm gonna give you one as if I was like starting the show and I wanted to hook people in immediately, and then I will give you the same answer because it's always going to be Ruidian. Ruidian is the coolest fucking concept. It's my like book 4 is my favorite book. Like that answer won't change.
Okay.
But definitely, if I were to have an event that is near the beginning of the series that really, really hooks people in, I think, honest to God, I would include, and maybe tweak a little bit, the prologue of Eye of the World.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I think it's instead of having the weird scene with...
The bassinet scene?
Yeah. Instead of having that, I would have, like, the world literally falling apart around Lews Therin and the mountain erupting. Like, that would be my season 1 hook for new watchers, new, like, old readers, like, all of those people. Like, that is I think, that would be, like, the crux of what I would base season 1 of the show on.
You mean you wouldn't start your fantasy series with Rosamund Pike putting on clothes?
Actually, no, I would start it with, Eliana! Honestly, Winter Dragon did it wrong, but, like, I think, like, could have been a really, really interesting concept to get people hooked onto the show.
Personally. I agree. I think, if we were restarting the show, I think that it would be starting with the Boar. Sealing the Dark One. And I would have it be Rosamund Pike's voiceover. Similar to the one that's there.
Yeah.
But instead of it being a voiceover over her putting on clothes and heading out the door.
It's the 100%
as if it's like
orgy
her
before
fucking
the men go
leaving
off.
for work in the morning.
Yeah.
It is, I would
It's
have
the
it be
orgy
the
scene.
Boar, and I would have it start with the Dark One being sealed away.
Right.
However you want to visualize that. Because it's...
Or even the breaking.
And that is how I would set up the taint. I would start with an exposition-y but beautiful, gorgeous, like what Rings of Power did, with the war with Sauron.
Mm-hmm.
Where we got those like great action shots of like the eagles and the wyverns fighting in the sky above the battle between orcs and elves. Like, I think that I would have it be that scale immediately.
Yeah.
Instead of like Rosamund Pike puts on clothes.
Getting dressed.
And then Rosamund Pike is on a very, very poorly CGI'd mountain watching Leandrin attack a random dude for no reason that we don't understand.
Yeah.
While Leandrin like confuses the audience on what the one power is immediately in the show. And then like it's such a like tepid start to the show.
Yeah.
That if you started with 3,000 years ago, 100 men walked into the mouth of Sheol Ghul.
I love that like we've both chosen things that set up the power.
Yeah.
And the madness.
Yeah.
like that is I think what was lacking in the show at the beginning.
Well, but the show
there.
couldn't set up the madness to start because because the show wanted it to be that either the boys or the girls could be the dragon.
Mystery box.
Right, but because they did that.
Yeah.
Setting up the madness from the beginning indicates too heavily that one of the boys is the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
And the show does that. The show tells you it's Rand immediately because he's the main character, right? He's written as the main character of Emond's Field, but the show wants it to. It just,
you knew, I didn't.
Structurally, it doesn't work, and on a rewatch, it like works less. But by wanting to have it be a like, is it a boy or is it a girl? The
gender reveal
they
party.
didn't want to start with the madness in the same way because I get it. But
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Bonus question.
But from here on, what is the thing like moving forward with the show? What's the one event that you think is the most important for them to funnel money into?
Ruidian is my favorite sequence, and for what it means for all the characters, like it has like immediate emotional impacts for everybody, not just main characters, but every single person in the near vicinity. And it like starts like a second breaking in a sense, and like having the scale of the past be so large, I think would be a huge benefit. Obviously, there's a bunch that are important that you could do, but Ruidian is just my favorite, and so I'm like predisposed to pick that.
Yeah, I disagree. I think Ruidian ultimately doesn't matter all that much in the series, so I think spending your money there is just not really worth it. I think like the Jen Aiel stuff, the Tinker stuff doesn't really like the Tinkers and the Aiel never really comes to play.
It's true.
Like there's so many things that Ruidian sets up for the series that never get paid off.
Fair.
And we never see that Aiel consider pacifism. Like, the series brings up in the first half that pacifism is valuable, and then there's no payoff on that for any of the characters that are supposed to have that arc.
Right.
Like, Aviendha never really finds pacifism in becoming a wise woman. Perrin never really finds pacifism. The Aiel find out about the Jen Aiel, but they never really find that part of themselves again because there's no resolution on the Aiel. They're just dead. And so there is sort of a weird, like, Ruidian is a setup for a story that the Wheel of Time never really explores. Mm-hmm. And so I would stick with the Battle of Emond's Field. I think that it is the most important emotional...
Oh, and not the cleansing. Okay.
No, I would do the Battle of Emond's Field. It would be season 3. It is the most important setup for the final battle in the early books because it's
like the precursor to it.
Yeah, and it is the moment where the emotional stakes of our main characters are the highest in the first half of the series.
Yeah, unfortunately, like Rand is not present for it as the main character. That would be the only thing that I think would be unfortunate for that to be like the highlight of the entire show.
Yeah, I think that like I would spend my money there because it is something that the audience can immediately understand the emotional stakes of, and I think that it's I think that there's value in it. And I don't know. That's why I would spend my money. I think that you can actually cheap out on the cleansing a little bit and make it work the same way. You can do it all with CGI, make it super... It's just it's a sky beam, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Like, the cleansing is what every movie has done between like 2008 and like 2017.
Yeah.
And so you can get around the cleansing cheaply. There's only like 12 people in it. But I think that like season 3 needs to end with a like big battle that's emotionally resonant, and Emond's Field is the one to do it.
Yeah.
And then obviously the last battle, right? If I'm gonna spend my money, that's where I'm gonna spend my money.
Yeah, that is kind of the obvious choice, but that is at the very end. Bonus question, which minor event, like those prologue events that only last a few pages, do you feel deserves to be in the show? Example, father giving his son the sword. I remember you saying some of you hit them right in the feels. That one thematically, absolutely.
Galad fighting Emond Valda can't be in the show the same way, obviously now.
Yeah, that's going to be different.
I don't think Margase is going to be in the show, but That I like. The Glad Fight and Balda would be one that I would love.
Yeah, no, the
beginning of Gathering
Borderlanders
Storm
falling-
with the guy turning the sickle, the shear into a sword. Like I think that like
oh yeah,
I think the final season should start with some random dude being convinced to a guy who's never held a sword in his life convinced to turn his farming equipment into a sword. I think is a really really brilliant way to start a season of television.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
I think that'd be fun. I think Apples. That's gotta. I mean, Apples has to happen.
Apples kind of has to. Yeah. Those are all great ones. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
M Dash says, now you know how it ends, but knowing you're not fans of how deaths, failures there were for the main characters early on, assuming the ending is kept pretty much the same, which characters would you kill off earlier in the books, and when? Which battles would you have them lose?
Fascinating. Okay.
Oh, I mean, it's tough because if you have to keep the ending intact, it's really hard.
I would have Ruark die at Dumais Wells.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
Yeah. I would have what's her name? I would have Bayer get killed by one of the dark friends in Teleranriad.
I like that.
Because they run into each other several times, they fight, there's ambushes, there's a lot going on there, and I feel like that backfiring one time and having one of the wise women die in Teleranriad would be like a taboo thing for the Aiel. Maybe not taboo, that's not the right word, but like devastating for them at least.
I would have cut the prophecy between Gareth and Swan, and I would have had Swan, or I would have kept the prophecy, and I would have had Gareth save Swan from a blood knife.
Yeah. And
then Swan run up the tower and die having Egwene's back. And I would have Swan and Gareth die in the Sanchin attack.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I think that like because honestly Swan and Gareth aren't really necessary after that.
No, they kind of get together and then it's kind of like, okay.
Yeah, and like Gareth leads an army, but like someone else could have led the army, you know what I mean? Like in terms of like emotional impact, I think Swan leaving Gareth to go have Egwene's back
and then dying because
and basically propping up her to be the next Amerlin seat and then dying because of it. And then you cut the like she leaves the tower and then comes back to the tower and everything's fine stuff. Like I think you cut all of that and you just have it be that she raises to everyone believes her to be the Amerlin seat because everyone sees Swan fall to protect her. And like the emotional connection of Swan and Egwene is what leads to her being the Amerlin seat.
Yeah, like the previous Amerlin like sacrificed herself for Egwene to succeed and lead them to victory. Is like really it's a strong choice.
Yeah, what are some other like lead characters that can die?
Lead-ish.
It's tough, right? Because like all the girls make it to the end, but I think that Min could have died. Avienda definitely could have died. Elaine can't. Elaine is the one of the three that can't die, but one of his three girls could have like really like gone out in a big way.
Yeah. I mean,
Talmain should have died at the beginning of A Memory of Light. The book
died.
should have started with a big death.
Yeah.
And like,
I agree.
Like,
to set it up.
Talmain should have been like carried on his shield through the camp in chapter 1. It would have been like a really nice get Agamar killed in Tarwin's Gap.
We could have actually had like Matt like be emotional about anything at all.
Matt could have cared about something. Yeah, I think there's a lot of them, right? I think that there's a lot of places that like death could have happened that would have been impactful to the plot that wouldn't have like dismantled the plot, but Seasting says, and Swan dying as she successfully frees Egwene would be cool so that you don't have to the complete loss of trust which affects our relationship going forward. Egwene could be mad she died because disobeying. Yeah, like, but also you could set it up that, like, Egwene would have died if she hadn't disobeyed, right? Like, you could have set up that, like, Egwene is mad that she disobeyed, but also knows that if she hadn't disobeyed, like, someone was going to get Egwene, like, a blood knife was going to get Egwene in the back, and the only thing that saves Egwene is Swan being there. Like, you get that moment, and then Swan gets like a more heroic death instead of just kind of dying in the middle of the last battle after not really doing anything in the last battle. Which is just, I don't know. Bail Doman could have died earlier on in the series. It wouldn't have mattered, right? Like Bail Doman could have died while they were traveling.
Bail didn't fucking do anything. He could have died at any point.
But I think that like I think that again in giving up the Bean Sanchin for Bail and then losing Bail would have been very interesting. and like what that would have meant for her going into her oaths at the end without him.
Okay, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
she holds to being Leolwyn shipless even after losing the reason she became Leolwyn shipless because she's lost faith in the Sanchin and, like, what that means. And, like, she wants to dismantle the Sanchin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cat Swain's death at the cleansing would... No, but I mean it seriously, right? Like, I think that, like, Cat Swain dying... Like...
There's a consequence for the cleansing of the taint.
If Semiraj had killed Cat Swain, and Cat Swain had died freeing Rand from the collar... in the room, like Rand is about to kill Min. Cat Swain comes in and breaks it, and Cat Swain and Semiraj fight as Rand recovers, and then Cat Swain dies as Rand gets the collar off and kills Semiraj. Would have been a really interesting way for Cat Swain to pay
redeem.
off her story.
Yeah, to redeem herself and her failure. I actually one that might have been really interesting is not exactly a death, but like Now this would change a lot because of like she's there at the end with Kalendor, but if Nynaeve in the cleansing of the taint had burnt out because of the sheer raw power of between her and Rand, like that would have been like such a like impactful sacrifice. And I think by then he's already told Nynaeve that he wants her there at the end with Kalendor.
Yeah.
And then having like Olivia
be present.
Be the
in
one
the
at the
final
end
book.
instead. But but having Nynaeve also there, and then she is the one who then finds Alana. Like she's just not the one that like is doing the channeling.
Yeah.
But I think that like having Swan like stilled and then healed.
Then you could do, if you did that, you could have Lan heal her soul after she loses the one power in the way that she healed him after he lost Moiraine. And then you get like a narrative completion of like their relationship in that way.
Right, interesting. And also him like losing like Malkier, like him wanting to die.
Seasting says rip Eben. This is the point though, right? Like you can be like, no, but there was a person who died there. It was
some cute boy.
Eben's personality was interesting.
Yeah, that we barely spent any time with.
Anyway, let's move on. I could do this all day. I could do this all day. Do this all day. Yeah. Do you think if RJ had lived long enough to finish the series himself, that perhaps he would have received a longer post-last battle wind-down of the book? Since he wrote the very end himself and then died, it seems like Brandon Sanders was sort of stuck with the ability to write more after RJ's final words. 1,000%.
I don't know.
I 1,000% think, I think that if Robert Jordan had continued to live, we would still be getting Wheel of Time books to today. Like, we would be on the 97th Outrigger novel. There would be another series about, like, Elaine's kids. Like, I think that Robert Jordan was obsessed with playing in this world, and as long as people were reading it, I don't think he would have ever stopped writing the Wheel of Time.
I actually don't think that the epilogue would have been much different, because he did do a lot of what's in the epilogue, and he had this, like, kind of, like... cheeky
100%.
moment with the pipe or whatever. I think that after the book, and there are other books, yes, but I don't really know if he would have given us much more resolution at the end of A Memory of Light.
I think that the Outrigger novels would have essentially been the actual epilogue of the series. Like, the epilogue is Rand's epilogue, and then I think that Robert Jordan would have written epilogues and epilogues and epilogues. I think we would have gotten the 4th Age. I think we would have gotten the 7th Age. You know what I mean? He would have done a Star Wars and gone back and written the 2nd Age.
You're probably right.
Like, I think that Moiraine would be in the book.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that would have changed.
Well, although the Moiraine one is interesting, right? Because Sanderson's like, look, I had no notes on her, and I didn't want to fuck around with this, like, really strongly established character. And I'm like, it is unfortunate, the realities of that, but I do miss Moiraine in the end.
Oh, 100%. And, like, you know, the reality is, like, we'll never know what these books were actually supposed to be, right? We just got what we got. And I'm going to complain about it. So Demetrius says, in this series, there's a lot of future visions, prophecies, foretellings, and so on. Some of them came true, some of them remain unresolved, but none were proven to be false. Is the future of the Aiel and the Sanchin the first one, or are the Aiel going extinct?
Wait, isn't there a prophecy about Perrin dying that's totally false? In the Dark Prophecy book?
I don't know that the Dark I don't think the Dark Prophecies are true. Right?
I don't know. Yeah. Am I misremembering that?
No, I think there was, but I think I think it's like if Perrin dies, the last battle's lost or something.
Oh, I thought it was like a prophecy about Perrin dying, and I was like, because that's why Graendal is like, how did this fail?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
A dark prophecy that Graendal misunderstood, in Seasting's opinion. So we
Okay.
can go with that.
Yeah.
I think the Aiel are fucked no matter what because their culture is set up to get them to the last battle, and it's over now. And I think that regardless of if they fight the Sanchin or not, and they will fight the Sanchin because Cat Swain will start that war to get her women back. I think that the Aiel are in a position where they have to adapt and become something new no matter what.
I think that instead of like what Avienda sees about the Aiel being like less than or other, I honestly think that the Aiel just kind of get assimilated into Randland in the general cultural sense because there are so few people left.
Yeah.
And like
that's so true. And
there's nobody left. Who are they gonna fuck?
Their culture is naturally going to change because of the abundance of resources made available to them, right? Like the Aiel culture exists in relationship to the abundance of resources or lack thereof in the threefold land.
Yeah.
And so just by nature of not being there anymore, the Shido might not change very much because they've gone back and they will continue to live off of the resources that they have. But
well, actually, the Aiel might be the people who help save Randland because they know what it's like to have limited resources in the immediacy after the battle. So the Aiel culture might actually be like a dominating one within Randland. I know there's not many of them left, but they kind of know what they're doing in terms of like food resources, water resources, and like surviving through really tough times. So maybe the Aiel actually kind of flourish and like Giato becomes more of a like Randland universal belief.
The only reason I don't think that'll happen is that I'm assuming the climate of Randland will return. And the Aiel do know how to work in the waste, but like Randland isn't becoming the waste.
No,
the climate's gonna go back to what it was.
I just mean there's very limited resources, and the Aiel know how to survive through like famines, like Randland
but they
might
don't
not
know.
have seen.
They don't know how to work the land where they are, right?
Which is why they would like. I think they would work together really well because the people of Randland know the land and how to get it back on its feet, and the Aiel are gonna help everybody survive to get to that point.
I think here's what I think is gonna happen. I think there's like 5 Aiel left because they all fucking died at Thekandar.
Yeah.
So like I don't know. I don't know that enough Aiel survive for it to matter. Because they certainly don't make it seem like very many Aiel survive. But they much like much of this book, I'm sure there's still hundreds of thousands of Aiel because if the Shido can be beaten to shit so many times and still have as many as they did.
The Shido are back.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Randall Moore asks, why do you think Nynaeve couldn't heal Rand's madness? Because he's Jesus.
I don't think she tried.
She did. She like looked at his brain and it was
no, it's because of how much. No, it was interlaced with the light, right?
Yeah, his brain was literally like glowing. Yeah. And so it was like, well, the madness didn't even really matter. So why try picking it apart when the light is already like overshadowing it? Like I just think it was. They were too closely entwined and the light was too strong. He's
Jesus.
Yeah, I honestly like think the answer is that he's Jesus.
I'd forgotten about that scene.
Yeah, she like looks at him and is like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Like.
Demetrios says, I always thought the Pattern Fane was where he was at the ending as the creator's contingency. If Rand actually removed the Dark One from the pattern, Shai-Sam would take his place as the new Shaitan. Matt was just lucky Rand made the correct choice. Thoughts? Sure. I guess the creator's like, we always have to have evil in the world. So I kind of hate there being another thing that just kind of takes the stakes out of the end of the book, but true. It's like, yeah, okay. It just means that the Dark One isn't the only source of evil in the universe, which he isn't, and so it like goes at like continuing to just kind of making the end of the book less satisfying. Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree like with that. It's just frustrating. I think it's actually a good. If the end of the book had a different theme, it would be very interesting. Because if the end of the book was Rand realizing that the pattern doesn't give a fuck about people, but living is worth it anyway, which I think is a more interesting theme than it's about human beings having choice. But I think that like the end of the book should be Rand realizing that the pattern isn't good and the Dark One isn't evil. The Dark One is evil, but that the pattern itself is not the opposite of that. And like getting a little bit more into the Judeo-Christian nature of the series, because that's what the stronger storytelling element is. Yeah. I think that you could have it be that like there would always be a Dark One, regardless of what Rand did. rather than it being like, no, we have to have the choice to follow you. I think then this would be a really great follow-up to that.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Christian Rapper says that I sound like Elon. Elon
I think
Musk?
he means Elon. Morden.
Oh, Morden.
I think. Which,
okay.
honestly, like, I get it.
I was like, Elon? I don't think I sound like Elon Musk.
No. Like, I get where Morden comes from. Like, I've made the joke, like, Morden was right, but, like, I kind of get it.
Morden, here's the thing. Morden is right.
Yeah.
He's inherently selfish.
Yeah.
Right? But, like, Morden's point of view is, I am being tortured forever. And this gets into my problem with the Dark One as a, like, choice narrative. Is one of the issues with him is that we find out a lot of people swore their oaths to the Dark One when they're children. Or, like, when they're very young. Like, girls go to the Dark Tower as kids, having already sworn their oaths.
The Dark Tower?
Sorry, the Dark One. So, they've sworn to the Dark One before they head to the White Tower as children.
Yeah.
Pater is a kid, right?
Yeah.
And so in Robert Jordan's version of choice, that it is eternal punishment for a choice for a single choice, not like the ongoing choices that we make. And so there's no way to turn from the Dark One in this world because he gets your soul forever. Like the choices that you make don't matter. The single choice that you make does.
Yeah.
And because so many people make that choice as children, it kind of removes the element of like human beings should have the ability to choose, taken out of the series, right?
Yeah.
And so making that the thematic ending gets wonky because it's like, well, Pater didn't want to do any of it. Moradin doesn't want to be doing any of this. He is just tortured for eternity, and so he doesn't really have a choice, right? Like, to say that Moradin has a choice in all of this isn't true, because if he dies, he just gets tortured and brought back again, over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how many times Rand kills Moradin, his body comes back and he gets tortured because of a thing he said 3,000 years ago that he doesn't believe in.
And here's the weird thing. If the Dark One is still alive and exists, then that means that, like, Moradin died this time around. Is he being tortured, like, for eternity by the Dark One?
Yes.
Yeah.
He'll come back at the end of the next age and be tortured again. So, like, the illusion of choice here isn't true. And so Rand's whole thematic ending is an illusion that he tells himself, but that isn't like fundamentally true based on what the series has said about how this world works. Like, Pater's soul is the Dark One's forever because he made a choice when he was a kid, right? Ingtar is going to be tortured by the Dark One forever for going back on his oaths that he made, even though he did not believe in them. Varen's soul belongs to the Dark One, even though she did not believe in any of the actions that she was doing as a Dark Friend, right? And actively worked against being a Dark Friend while technically being one. Like, the nature of that choice, and even Varen says, I didn't really have a choice, it was that or die, right? Like, that isn't the same as Varen chose to be evil, or Morden chooses to be evil. These characters don't give a shit about what the Dark One wants.
Yeah.
And so they're not really making that choice. They just literally don't have a choice because when they were 6 years old, they swore their soul to the Dark One. Thematically, it's a little bit less nutrient dense than you want it to be.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Like, the Dark One isn't more powerful if people are more evil in this world. Right?
Yeah, it's all very, I don't know.
Yeah. Let's get into Emma and Drew.
Yes. If you could have one more prequel book to read, what would it be, and why would it be the tale of young Sebin Balwer and Herod Fell as roommates in college? Balwer is uptight and studious. Fell is a genius party boy. Madcap hijinks ensues.
Would read the fuck out of that. I'm sad that Balwer isn't more present in the final book.
Yeah, he's a great character.
I wish that he had some resolution with the White Cloaks with Galad. I think that would have been a really interesting scene to get, but Balwer is fantastic. He's one of my favorite characters in the series. He's amazing. And
we only see Herod Fell like twice. Yeah.
I would read the shit out of a Balwer Herod Fell at fucking like Camelin College. Oh my god, can you imagine? Herod Fell dates an Aes Sedai. You know what I mean? And Balwer is just like not about it.
Yeah, he's like, what you doing? What you doing, bro?
We see Balwer, like, Herod Fell convinces Balwer to stop being a narc for the school administration. You know what I mean? Like there's so there.
I'm
Oh
glad
God,
I
would
did not
read.
take a bigger drink. Oh
I
my
would
God.
read the shit out of that book. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah, no, that would be great. That'd be great. I would love.
But other than that, what prequel book would you want to read?
Yeah, I would love I would love a prequel book about the what are they called? The Amayir that all fucking killed themselves. Be great to know who they are. What were they like? What did they do? Who are they?
Why did the sequel
Why do
care
they
about
matter?
them? Remember?
Yeah.
That was the most insane chapter in this whole series when entire people just killed themselves and we went, who?
I guess so. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, that would be my choice. What about you?
I would love the prequel book of Morgase's Succession fight.
Oh, fun.
I think that would be a really fun book.
Fun.
I think that like a Tom Marilyn early years. Weirdly, it's all like
With
Andor.
Morghese. Andor's probably my favorite place in Randland.
Yeah, I think. Where else would I want a prequel book? I think that you could easily tell a very cool story about the fall of Malkir.
Yeah, definitely.
I think the Trolloc Wars. I mean, we want to do a TTRPG story set in the Trolloc Wars, right? Like, so that is an easy one.
Yeah, for sure.
Prequel. Tam's Story of the Blood Snow. Like, I would read that book. I would read the shit out of it. The Second Age.
Yeah.
Like Luce there and Telemon's life as a prequel.
Yeah, for sure.
Tam and the Golden Bees, yeah.
Yeah, Tam, I would love. I would read anything about Tam, honestly. Yeah.
Andrel, just like his whole life.
Yeah, Andrew's had a very interesting life. I would love to read his memoir.
I would love a whole book of Varen being a dark friend from her POV.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, just what was that like?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking God, that would be so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, I'm into it. That's the choice.
Huron realizing that he smelled violence as a kid and what his like teenage years were like dealing with that and like I think that'd be a cool one.
Yeah, he joins the Tinkers. Rob
yeah,
Ross.
But seriously though, he would, right?
I
Makes
mean,
sense.
I would get it. Rob Ross says, congratulations on completing the series. After hearing fans' love-hate relationship with these books for so long, how do you relate? From experiencing the highest of highs to the lowest of lows.
I get it.
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
I can't talk about that.
Yeah, no. I get it. I get it.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it.
We are one of you. Thank you for shouldering this burden with us. Misery shared is misery halved.
A year from now, I will only be talking about the things that I love about the Wheel of Time, and I can't wait for it.
Let's see about that.
No, I will, because I just won't give a shit enough about the stuff I don't like to talk about it. It's like someone commented on a YouTube video recently, and they're like on a Full Metal where they're like, Nerdy like really cares about the details, but like he's fine with how Darth Maul came back in Star Wars Clone Wars. And I commented on the comment, and I was like, it took me like 5 years to be okay with how dumb it was how Darth Maul survives. I'm consistent. Like, I just wasn't reacting to the cloners at the time, but when Darth Maul comes back and is like, I survived on hatred, and I was so angry that I just didn't die, at the time I went, I really like the Clone Wars, but this is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my entire... Like, this was the laziest reason for him to be alive right now.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like I fell into a bad of... Like, he could have just fallen in Bacta and been okay because, like, at the bottom of that was, like, a medical storage room or... It would be equally as dumb as I lived for years in the basement of Naboo being so angry that my body just didn't die. It would have been fine, but it took me like...
Less impressive, though.
I don't care about it now because it's been a decade.
Yeah.
But at the time I was like, I fucking hate that.
Yep.
And so I'm more consistent than you guys know. I promise.
No, that's fair. Ilsrom asks, if the Outrigger books about Matt and Tuan and such had been written, would you read them? And if so, what would you want them to be about?
I would not until they were done.
Yeah.
Because that first book would have been rough.
Yeah, there's the Matt Tuan stuff I hate reading about, and so reading a whole series about them is like, okay, this would have to have like a satisfying conclusion of like, slavery is bad.
I would have waited until it finished, read the reviews, and then maybe decided to read it or not.
Yeah.
But I like to only get the Matt Tuan stuff and none of the rest of it.
Yeah, no, that'd have been rough. Colonel Sanders, number 1, if you were to fix the slog, would you be more likely to condense into fewer books, write better or more interesting side quests, or other?
Oh, I mean, it's so easy, right? Like, you just have Perrin go get Rand to deal with the Shido.
Yeah.
Like, and then you
And
have...
Missima.
And then...
And that is all, like, yeah, I don't know, maybe, like, a quarter of a book
and then,
instead
well,
of,
and
like,
then,
4.
And you have Tam there, and so you condense all of it down to Tam convinces Rand to be a better person while helping him fight the Shido, and you cut all of that shit out. Like, you literally trim so much down to, like, the fight, the Missima... You bring Rand over to that fight. Rand sees Missima as the version of himself that he is becoming, and he sees the prophet of the dragon,
Yeah.
being a like warning sign of what him being hard and him being ruthless is turning him into.
Yeah.
And then you have Tam there, and Tam is like the pure version of himself, his childhood self, the man he wanted to be growing up.
Yeah.
And you put Rand in the position where he has to look at those two things.
Yeah.
And he decides to be more like Tam. He Veins of Gold, gets the Shido done.
I was going to say, you had that moment way earlier.
And in the Veins of Gold, rather than wiping out the Sanshin, rather than having him wipe out the Shido, the Veins of Gold scene leads to him convincing the Shido to be better.
Yeah.
And then you have the Perrin pays off the pacifism building or destroying Axe Hammer thing by bringing Rand in, and the two of them come up with a pacifist solution that convinces the Shido to be part of the Army of Light in the end. And you do Veins of Gold there. You just like condense all of that down to one plot line where they don't bring in the Sanshin for no reason.
Yeah.
They don't find fucking a metric butt ton of fork root. They don't turn a fucking... You get there without having to do all of the random shit to get there.
Yeah.
And it ties into Perrin's pacifism, learning to like not destroy, leans into Rand learning to be the best version of himself at the same time. Their arcs kind of narratively climax at the same time, and you can move forward from there.
And then because of all that being sped up, Elaine doesn't have to fight for her succession. Like
for as long,
like it could be like much easier and simpler. I know that they happen kind of at different times, but like a lot of people don't like reading about that part. It's not interesting to them, and I think you could easily condense / lift most of that out.
Yeah.
And I think that would be a good way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Colonel Sanders number 2 question.
Now that we're at the end of all things with no endings, who is the Samwise Gamgee character of the series? Because Sam is the best. I mean, it's got to be Perrin, right?
Who is the Samwise Gamgee character of the series?
He literally...
Andral?
No, it's Perrin. He literally climbs up the mountain at the end so that Rand can do the thing. And he puts the Dream Spike in Mount Doom so that Rand can go do the thing. Like,
and
Perrin is the Sam of the... Yeah.
And takes that burden off of Rand.
He's the Samwise.
Yeah. Yeah, in a lot of, like, literal senses. Like, I think, like...
Obviously very different characters, right? He's more violent. He's, but he is the... Like, narratively, next to Rand, he is that character of, like, carrying Rand's burdens. He literally goes to deal with Missima for Rand.
Yeah.
Like, Perrin is Rand's right hand in terms of a lot of on-screen action. We know that there are other characters that Rand sends off to do things for him, but we don't get to see those. We see Perrin do those things.
Yeah.
And, like, Perrin, like, setting up to protect Rand from Slayer and from the Forsaken being able to get into Shale Ghul. Like, he, with the Dream Spike, he really is the, like... the version of that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And their friendship, he follows Rand all the way from the beginning, and where Matt is the Pippin and Merry who go off and do their own thing and aren't great friends. Samwise is the best friend ever and is by his side the whole time. Even if he's not physically by his side, he is still like his goals are by Rand's side. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Colonel Sanders' third question: is this series in its totality currently the best completed series you've ever read? Or what beats it? Let's exclude The Lord of the Rings as too easy and Game of Thrones as incomplete.
I was about to say, like, Lord of the Rings exists.
Yeah, it's like that, that's too easy.
Interesting.
It is not the best completed series I've read.
No, I prefer Inheritance to this.
Oh God, me too.
Yeah. I would put the Aragon books above this.
Yeah, I think the Aragon is not as dense, and therefore it is subject to taste. But Aragon doesn't have a slog in the middle of it.
I'm trying to think of like fantasy, because there are other series outside of fantasy, like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is one that I think is just like is truly a masterpiece work.
Yeah.
I remember like finishing Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and being like, I feel like I am a different human being because I read that.
Yeah.
But to keep it to just fantasy is tough. I'm trying to think of series that I finished.
Yeah, like I said, I did most of my reading a while ago. And that I've read the whole thing. Interesting.
Oh, people don't like Hitchhikers after the first book. I like the whole series. I got all 5. I've read it multiple times. I love Hitchhikers. It's so deep.
I've only read the first book, and I loved it.
It gets weird.
Same with Dune. I only read the first book.
It gets so weird. I agree that it gets so weird, but thematically, that weirdness like really nails it for me. It just is like it and like the level of comedy, but like the depth of emotional storytelling in Hitchhikers is always. Every time I pick it back up, and like if I showed you my copies of Hitchhikers, they're so yellow. They're like they are deep yellow because they were my mom's actually, and my mom gave them to me, and I've had them my whole life.
There's a series that I know that I thoroughly enjoyed when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the caveat here is that I read these when I was probably around the age of 13 or 14.
Mm-hmm.
But Kenneth Opel has a series. The first book is called Silverwing.
I've never read it.
It's about bats. Not gonna lie. The main character, they're all bats.
Cool.
Really fucking cool. I loved those books. They're definitely more kid-friendly, more geared towards kids. But as a series overall, I believe 4 books in total. 4? Yeah, I think so. I actually really liked those books. Oh, better series overall is Golden Compass, Amber Spyglass, and Subtle Knife.
I wouldn't consider those fantasy, but I see where you're coming from.
I would consider them fantasy.
That to me
for
is
sure.
sci-fi.
Sure. Yeah. And then there's a duology, which if you don't consider that a series, totally fine. Called Eon and Iona. If you like fantasy, it is heavily inspired by Chinese mythology.
Cool.
And dragons, and also plays a lot with gender roles as well. Dark Materials, thank you. That's what it's called. Yes.
Which is interesting. We haven't watched that show at all.
Yeah, because I heard mixed things, and
I've heard nothing. I don't know anyone who's watched it.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never spoken to anybody about that show ever.
Okay.
Yeah, I just know that Lin-Manuel Miranda's in it, and Daniel Craig is not. Which is a
Daniel
shame.
Craig is not.
Daniel Craig's very hot. I would say like for me like number 1 is Lord of the Rings. Number 2 is probably I don't know. Inheritance is pretty strong.
I love Inheritance.
I haven't read it since high school.
I will say Inheritance is up there. It is one of my favorites of all time.
I think rereading that is going to be interesting because I haven't read it in over a decade. So, but no, I think like I would put Wheel of Time in that like just below that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like there is so much that is still good, but for us right now, I think that the negative parts are fresh and not being satisfying with the ending. It really kind of
lives weirdly in a similar shelf as Harry Potter does in my head, of like regardless of the author, right? Obviously, I like the authors of this more than I like J.K. Rowling, but it's like got a lot of like weird problematic problems, and it doesn't always pay off its themes in the best way. But it also has some like really incredible epic moments, and like the community around it is something that has brought me a lot of joy.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of there for me. It's not my favorite. It's definitely not my favorite series I've ever read, but it's not like bad.
Yeah.
Except for Crossroads of Twilight, which broke me as a person.
Yeah. Sean Oshman asked, how do you feel about Moraine's return in Towers of Midnight and her subsequent story in A Memory of Light? Was it worth it, or would it have been better to end her story with her sacrifice in the fires of heaven?
No, because Lanfear comes back, so like it would have been pointless for her to die and Lanfear to not.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like honestly, like Moraine just kind of goes nowhere. It's something the show is going to have to fix because Rosamund Pike is the star of the show. And
we talked about how like we watched the interview with Sanderson and how he's like, I had no notes on Moraine and I didn't want to fuck around with her, and so I understand that. It was still unsatisfying, but I get the reasoning behind it. So.
Yeah, because I just think that Moraine kind of goes nowhere in the end. Yeah. And like emotionally, I know, and I don't really know how anybody feels at the end of the series except Rand, because he's, you know, the only one who we really get that POV from. But
yes.
Moraine coming back is wasted in that she comes back to be there, but not to do anything there. It's not like she even really changes Rand's mind about anything. She doesn't come back with like, while I was being feasted on, I got to like this knowledge from the Ylfin that helps her that helps Rand.
Yeah, she's just kind of nerfed in power, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, and then she just kind of doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
But also, if she didn't come back, but Lanfear did, it would be very weird.
I agree.
Right? Like.
Yeah. Morsis Prinmon asks, if someone you know started reading Wheel of Time, what moments would you be most excited to hear their reaction to?
Doom Eye Wells,
Veins of Gold.
Veins of Gold.
The Viridian stuff I find super fascinating, but like I feel like I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm the only one who like latches onto that one.
I had the ending because people were like, it's really confusing. And I read it and I was like, this wasn't that confusing. And so I would like to know like someone who I know really well to see what if they had the same experience I did, where I was like, this made sense.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, those are the big ones. The Battle of Emond's Field. Really the end of Shadow Rising, like Tenchiko, Battle of Emond's Field, and what the fuck is Rand doing at the time? Fighting
somebody.
In Ruidian, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he's doing Ruidian stuff.
Ruidian, yeah. Ruidian's great.
Yeah, okay, it is one of my... Okay.
The last battle, I want to talk to them about the last battle as they go through it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'm glad people love Ruidian. I don't know, I feel like I'm always the one bringing it up. I'm like, Ruidian! That's my favorite!
I would be excited to hear them whine about Crossroads of Twilight like I did. Like, I would want to, like, experience them hating it as much as I did. And if they didn't, I would be disappointed.
Yeah.
I'd be like, wait, you like this? Ugh.
Oh, we can't be friends anymore.
There are things that I feel like that with, where, like, I have friends who, like, really love stuff that I, like, don't want to talk about, but they want to talk about, and I'm like, we can't.
I felt that.
Because we fight every time we talk about this, and my opinion is not going to change.
I felt that about, episode 8 of, Star Wars.
Oh, Last Jedi?
I was like, you liked The Last
See, I enjoy fighting about The Last Jedi. I find that one fun. But, like, Rings of Power,
one day...
Oh, I couldn't do it.
One day we'll react to it and we'll fight about it.
Yeah, sure.
I think people would find
I don't think
it
would be much of a fight, though, because I know what you don't like about it, and you know what I don't like about it. And you just like it anyways. Well, no, but, like, you know... Like, I made a video about what I don't like about that movie, right?
True, yeah.
Yeah. Rave Knight... been with you guys since your reactions to the show, but this is my first interaction with the amazing community. You guys have grown.
Hey,
what's
thanks
up,
for that.
Rave Knight? Welcome in. My question is, if you could write a sequel, what would it look like? How many books? Who's the main characters? Could you expand on the world? If I could write a sequel?
Would you write
Tuon, you're in for some shit.
Tuon's
life is about to get... No, not at all. No, Tuon would be the main character.
Existential crisis
ensues. It would be a absolutely like brain draining journey for her to go on, and it would be the like it would be Tuon has constant night terrors throughout her pregnancy as she realizes the implications of what it means if her child can channel, and it would just be an absolute like it would be Tuon realizing that it does matter that she can learn how to channel, her channeling a little bit in secret, and like her learning and what it means for her to learn, and then her dismantling her society from the inside before ultimately like sacrificing herself for the change in her society. And Matt would leave her really early on. He'd be like, the prophecies are done, I'm out. And
I'm out.
I think that like I would probably have Matt like run away with their child after the pregnancy, because Matt wouldn't know about the changes that he would make, and Matt's fear over his daughter being turned into a domain would cause him to like steal her in the night. And like the like what that would mean for Tuon as she's like trying to chase Matt down and their child down, but also like understanding why he did it and not sure if she actually wants to catch him. And so she's like she has her whole army trying to chase Matt down and trying to get her daughter back. But the whole time she's like secretly learning how to channel and is like trying to decide if she even wants to like bring her daughter back into this culture that she hasn't changed yet.
Right. Interesting.
And it would be about how slavery's bad.
Mine would be about Olvir is actually Gaidal, and he grows up and
does he imprint on Renesmee?
No, shut the fuck up. No, he's only like 8 years older than Brigitte, okay? So, like, when Brigitte's
He
like...
sees, like, 10-year-old Brigitte, and he's like, when you turn 18, I'm gonna fuck you.
No. They meet when he's, like, 20... Or when she's, like, 26, and he's, like, 32 or 34. Math. I can't do math.
Sure.
But, like, they meet when they're older, and that they gallivant on adventures, saving Randland from the state that Rand left it in.
Amp, they've been on the journey with us. They got their wife to watch our book club, and now they're on book 4. She's never read a fantasy book before.
Never read a fantasy book.
This is her start. Oh, wow.
Wow.
It gets better.
Buckle up. Gets better? What do you mean?
Reading
book 4
fantasy.
is great. Oh. No, she's in the good shit right now. This is like prime time. That is really cool.
All right.
I appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Amp. We appreciate that. You're stranded. This is Wheel of Time fan edit. You're stranded on a desert island and can save one and only one book in this series. Wait, did you say what your
Guide Owl is over? Yeah.
Yeah. Book in this series to read for the next 5 years. Which one do you choose? Shadow Rising. It's the best one.
Yeah.
Or Eye of the World. I could reread Eye of the World over and over again.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
It's a start. It has
4.
kind of a full narrative, but yeah, I would go with Shadow Rising. Cow Slace says, now that you finished the series, how would you condense the books down into 8 seasons of television?
That's kind of got to be its whole separate video.
Okay. I would start by not doing that. I would make it animated.
Yeah, I would make it animated. That's it.
I would make it animated in the style of, like, Korra, in that, like, visual style. And then I would...
Or Arcane. That would be sick.
Or Arcane.
That'd be expensive as fuck, but that would be sick.
Yeah, I would do it animated, and I would... Or, like Avatar: The Last Airbender would be a cool style for it. But more modern, like Arcane, or... I wouldn't do Arcane, though. Arcane's style lends itself to, like, the technologically heavy elements.
Really? I think for the magic, it would be sick.
I think that I would rather it look like how Korra, I love the way the fire... I've only seen, like, trailers and stuff for it.
I was like, I've never watched it, so I
Castlevania
don't know.
would be a sick style for it, honestly.
Also,
especially later on. Like, if the style were to, like, start to get more and more like Castlevania as it went on, as the world got darker. Yeah, I would do animated, and then I would really, really lean into just, like, Rand, Perrin, and Matt's stories in season 1, and then Egwene later on. Like, I don't know. It would be tough. I would have to, like, come up with, like, a full way to do it. But...
Yeah, that's something that, like, we might make as its own separate video. Like, we
I don't know that I would want to make that video.
Just, like, lay out a plan of, like, what we would do and why it would be fun. And not really focus on what the show did wrong, but just kind of, like, if someone were like, you need to pitch a Wheel of Time TV show, like, how would we lay it out, like, for funsies?
I think I just wouldn't.
Oh, okay.
Because here's the thing. I would want permission to change too much about the end. Like,
but we would only do season 1.
I would go to Harriet and I'd be like, hey, like, y'all really dropped the ball on the slavery.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but, like, if we're doing this Sanchin, I'm not doing what you guys did with the Sanchin. No one's getting spanked. You know what I mean? Like, there's just so much. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would do.
Yeah.
It would be so hard. Yeah. It's why I don't really envy the show, right? Like, it's why, like...
They have a tough job.
Yeah, and they... Yeah.
Yeah. Morris Springman asks, now that you're spoiler-proof, would you consider visiting r/Wetlander humor for a meme review?
Oh, maybe.
Sure, that would be fun.
Is that the one that's super book cloaky or no?
No, okay. I think that's literally r/White Cloak.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would do a meme review. I won't do it in this video, but I would do that in a separate video.
Yeah, definitely.
Blue says, who's your favorite captain and why is it Rodel Iturralde?
It really is. Like honestly.
Oh, it's tough though. They're all great. Like, not one of them is a bad character.
No, none of them are bad characters. But, like, Rodel has, I think, the most interesting moments in the last battle out of any of the great captains. I think that him and his trauma of and being saved by Rand in the Borderlands is fascinating, and his perspective on how the Taviranness feels and pulls at him, all written fantastic. Rodel is the best, definitely S tier character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Rodell is the best one, but they're all great.
Yes, absolutely.
Wheel of Time Fan says, who's your favorite side character, and why is it Talmanes? Mine's probably Balwer or Androl.
I'm like, yeah, what do you consider a side character? Like someone who doesn't get a POV? Because there are a lot of characters that do get POVs, but are like kind of
Androl
side
has
characters.
a bunch of POVs, but he's a side character.
Yeah, is he a side character? Like, I don't...
But no, Balwer's pretty incredible.
Balwer is great.
Brigitte.
Gaul is great.
Gaul.
Yeah, Brigitte, I guess, is technically a side character, but she's fantastic.
Gaul's great. Loyal's technically a side character.
Yeah, technically, which is so weird. Because he disappears for a while.
Oh, Pavara. Remember how much we fucking loved Pavara hunting down the Black Aja?
Yeah, honestly, you know what? Lock-in favorite answer is probably Pavara.
Pavara is pretty high. I mean, I want
Pavara.
Pavara to be the Amerlin seed at the end. I think she deserves it.
Yeah, Pavara. Definitely, that is 100% the answer.
Corey Sadai asks, long-time lurker, first-time questioner. Is there a plot besides the Sea Folk that you think could have been cut to tighten up the series, the Sea Folk? P.S. You guys are great. Thanks for bringing new perspectives to a series that I have been in love-hate relationship with since the 90s.
You're welcome.
One of the ways that you could have cut the Sea Folk too is that Elaine can the Bowl of the Winds could have been the first time we see Elaine's like Terangrial powers used for something, right?
I mean, she can kind of just create Terangrials. So I don't know.
I know, but like you can or have Avienda. Does Avienda go with them to Ebudar? She does, right?
Which time?
The only time Elaine's there.
Oh yeah, because she picks apart the weaves. Remember?
Yeah, have.
She makes the boom.
Why isn't that the moment that you reveal that Avienda can see what Terangrials do?
With the Bowl of the Winds? Great question. Great question.
Anyway, you can literally cut. You can cut out Avienda.
Other than the Sea Folk.
But I'm saying you cut the Sea Folk and you have Avienda tell them how the Bowl of the Winds works in that scene.
True. Yeah.
Boom,
yeah.
Done.
So okay, besides the Sea Folk, I think we would cut the fucking Shido. The whole
the second half of the Shido.
The second half of the Shido.
I would keep the Shido sacking Kyrian. I like that scene. But then I would just have them be so broken after that, or like have the Shido at Dumai's Wells, and then like they get sent through the portals. They fuck up some shit in the east, but they're not really a big threat after that. They're too spread out and there's too few of them.
Yeah, or the circus.
And then you cut all the weird like sexual slavery that the women go through with the Shido, and you cut out these women are fucking men for protection part, which I was like, fuck, this is fucking weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Massima, you can cut Massima. Massima literally doesn't matter.
Yeah. Irrelevant. She's probably cutting the show. Like honestly, like I would not bother.
She?
Sorry, I was thinking Masana.
No, you keep Masana. Masana and Gwen's fight is so cool.
I mean, it's cool, but that's the only thing that she gets. But yeah,
I would lean into it more, but I wouldn't cut it.
Massima stuff doesn't matter because Rand is not the one who deals with him, and so it's kind of like...
Yeah.
Early Ann asks, do you think Rand would have had his flair for dramatics if not for the time he spent with Tom in the Eye of the World?
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that Lews Therin is dramatic.
Yeah, Lews is dramatic.
I feel like he's just a dramatic boy.
His best friend Ishamael is also dramatic, so...
But I do like that Tom, taught him how to play music. I wish that Rand had brought the flute back. Like, I wish he'd played the flute for the Dark One and been, listen to this sick song and he plays some jazz flute.
And Tom is like, is that my flute? What the fuck is going on in there? But the time distortion is weird, so it, sounds, really, really slow for Tom.
And the Tinkers somewhere are like, is that the song?
Is that the song? Oh my god, that would be hilarious. Rand plays the song and fixes the world.
Yeah. The time distortion gets extra weird, though, when Rand is in a time distorted place, but Matt hears him. Does Matt hear Rand as Dark One? These are my friends.
That's hilarious.
Please don't hurt them. They will win the last battle.
Pretty sure verbatim that is what Rand says. Don't hurt my friends. This is not the greatest song in the world. This is just a tribute.
I would love if he played the jazz flute scene from Anchorman.
Oh my god.
The Dark One's like, what? You
Like-
can't channel at me, Red. And Red pulls the flute in pieces out of his clothes and assembles it.
Oh my god. Would hate that.
I would, Rafe, I know you watch the show, Rafe Judkins. I know you're here every Friday morning, Rafe. Blue is actually Rafe. That's the secret. Blue has been Rafe Judkins this whole time. We're his favorite show. Please have Rand play the jazz flute to the Dark One in the end.
Would love that. Brian the Seventh asks, who is your favorite character that does not get a POV? That's tough.
Balwer.
Everyone gets a POV. No, Balwer gets POV.
Balwer gets a POV? Fuck. Pavar gets POV, Angela gets POV, Loyal gets POV.
Like, who doesn't get a POV?
Does Davron Bashir get a POV?
Yeah.
Fuck. Riddell does. Agilmar doesn't.
Does he not?
I don't think Agilmar ever gets a POV. We always see it from Lion's POV.
He's just not one of my favorite characters.
He is for me. That moment where he's about to kill himself because he realized he was compulsed.
Gowl gets a POV.
Gowl gets POV.
He fucking runs away at the end. Like, yeah. Morghese gets a POV.
Yeah, Morghese gets multiple POVs.
Many POVs.
Ruark has a POV.
Ruark has POVs earlier.
Yeah.
Senbui, no.
Ingtar. Does Ingtar get a POV? I don't know that he does. It might be Ingtar. Hopper doesn't get a POV.
That's true. Hopper, oh my god.
It's
That's
Hopper.
Hilarious.
Tam gets a POV.
Tam gets a POV.
Tam gets a POV in the last battle.
In the fucking epilogue.
Yeah.
Or yeah, when they're like shooting bows. Literally everyone gets a fucking POV. Yeah. So that's a really hard question.
Ingtar, I think, might be the answer for me.
It's Elsa Grinwell. Elsa Grinwell. Yeah.
I forgot about Elsa Grinwell.
Really needs a POV.
I totally forgot she existed. That's
really
so
needs
funny.
a POV.
All right.
Early Anna has thoughts on this out of context quote from The Gathering Storm chapter 9. You don't need my hands, just my tongue. The speaker is Perrin. I don't remember that.
I mean, look, if you are just using your mouth and no hands, you're pretty good at it, is all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Those are my thoughts. Most
people need their hands to steady themselves when they're doing that. Early Ann says, the Wheel of Time fandom loves to argue about, well, everything in the series. I can't wait to be among you. I will fight you on anything.
Guys, Twitter's about to blow up.
What is your top I Will Die on This Hill issue? Matt sent multiple letters to Elaine. He only sent one. Cat Swain sucks. That's not an issue. That is just the truth. Tummin should have died after Camelin. That one's not really an issue. That's more like it would have been better thematically if he had. But and you won't be able to convince me that the books are better off because Tummin lives through that. He should have come back as a hero of the Horn. It would have been so fucking rad. Matt,
my hill that I'm dying on is that Oliver is Guidal. Because otherwise, what's the fucking point?
Yes.
What's the fucking point?
Yeah. What's the point of Oliver if he's not Guidal?
Don't give a fuck. He's Guidal. He blows the horn.
That's the one.
No, he just
That's the one. For Nerdy, since Clarus won't get the reference, who wins in a sword fight, Lan or Dracul Mihawk? Mihawk. 1,000%. Did you see what he did to Zoro? Did you see fucking Ildrum? Did you see what he did to Zoro? Lan doesn't have hockey, okay? Dracul Mihawk will fuck him up. Leanne says, I want to know your take on Egwene's ending. During a previous Jordan Con, Robert Jordan's notes were revealed to the public, and the notes for Egwene's ending was that after the war, she would give birth to Gawain's child, and Galad would help her raise the baby. This is heavily foreshadowed in Book 2, and means viewing that Egwene would be tied to Galad in some way. That fucking didn't come true. While she earned her heroic death, how do you feel if Sanderson didn't deviate from RJ's notes among many things, and she survived the last battle, cementing the change in the White Tower? Also, we wouldn't have Ken Swade in Aberlin. That was a Brando Sando edition.
So I actually like Egwene's ending in this book. I like her sacrifice. I think the moments are great, and I think Gawain dying, it all makes sense to me. I love that Egwene's arc is reflected in the Manetheren arc.
Yes.
Right? We find out about the queen. Her husband dies. She feels him die. And she uses that grief and that power to save the people that she can save. And that's kind of what Egwene does, which is why I'm like, I think she might be the turning of the wheel of that person again.
Yeah.
Of the Queen of Manetheren. And so I know, sure, some people don't like the ending. I think it's great. I think thematically it's great. I think, obviously Cat Swain becomes Amerlin, and I hate that. But apart from that, like, I love it. I think if Egwene grows up and has a son, like she's the Amerlin seat, like do the Aes Sedai have children? It doesn't really seem like it. Like it would just be a whole weird thing to introduce and how that would work. And I think that this is better.
Yeah, but like also what would Galad's place in that be? Like him and Berlain are in Mayene.
Yeah, he's
I'm assuming
he's fucking. He's leading the.
He's also
the
a White Cloak.
Like yeah, it would be weird that a White Cloak would help Egwene, the Amerlin seat, raise her baby. Like, that seems problematic within this world. Although I don't really know if the White Cloaks exist. I kind of think that they crumble and fall apart because their ideology is flawed and stupid.
Well, and they've fought alongside the... Yeah.
And
now it's like...
They can't go back, right? You cannot go back.
And I think they don't. I think they go to Mayene, and I think that they become something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
And same with the Aiel, right? They become something else. The White Cloaks are going to become something else.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I like everything about Egwene's death until Cadsuane becomes the Amerlin, and then it just feels like Cadsuane is going to ruin everything that she did. They went back to the old guard immediately as soon as Egwene was gone, and all of the like institutional changes that Egwene started with the like summer courses with the Aiel and the winter courses
the
with the
exchange
Sifo
program.
All of that stuff is going to go away because Cadsuane is a fundamentalist and she is a old school. Cadsuane believes that the Aes Sedai were doing things right in the past and isn't willing to say that like the new guard is right at all. And
maybe
it fundamentally ruins Egwene's sacrifice to have them immediately turn back to the antithesis of everything Egwene brought to the White Tower.
Yeah, maybe because we know Cadsuane does not want to be Amerlin. Maybe she's kind of like the steward of Gondor and like just like is in the seat like momentarily until they can find someone to take over.
Sure.
That would be nice.
She could also just die at any point. Like Cadsuane could literally just keel over, and I would like that.
Yeah.
Maddox said Sanderson said he made Cadsuane Amerlin as punishment because he hated her character so much. Great.
Yeah, it's just
Way
that
undoes
everything in the world. Yeah.
Well, and what's so strange is that Siuan has the legacy conversation with Egwene, and Egwene has not set up any legacy. Like the book almost gets at it, and then like forgets to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a shame because I actually love Egwene's death. I think more of the Emmonsfield should have died there. But if it's going to be one of them, Egwene's death is the best version of it. And it's just a shame what happens after because it really doesn't. It like Siuan literally is like, I'm so proud of you. You're my legacy. And then Siuan dies and Egwene dies. And then Egwene's legacy is disregarded and forgotten about. And that is like, it's tough. It's weird.
Yeah. Because
she's just going to be remembered as the person who did the cool fight thing, not as anything else. Because all of her institutional practices are gone.
Yeah.
Under Cadsuane.
Yeah.
Sean says, what plotline were you most satisfied with?
Logain.
Yep.
Always.
What plotline do you feel was the most unsatisfactory or led nowhere?
Rand.
The Sea Folk.
Okay, sure, yeah. But the main character.
Sanchin.
The main character.
No, Rand's at least like he at least beat the Dark One. The Sanchin literally go nowhere.
Sure, and then he's like, my kids, fuck them, and leaves.
Do you think it would have been possible to write the series if Robert Jordan hadn't artificially constrained the bad guys?
Yeah, it just means more people would have died, and that the stakes would have been higher.
Yes,
like
I think that he could have written the series to have reasonable villains, and it would have been a better series. Yes, it is the thing that holds it back. Like it's the reason why Inheritance is better, in my opinion. Is Galbatorix as a villain is so much scarier and makes so much more sense than anything the fucking Forsaken do.
You know, the moment Galbatorix decides to leave his fucking tower. Sorry, I don't want to spoil things for people who haven't read it. We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about it. Yeah.
But like, yes, I think that like the weakness that there's two things that the Wheel of Time does so poorly that I still kind of can't believe it, and it is romance and villains. Like
they're married off page.
Like this is a world that is world built so well until a villain arrives, and the villains are all Fs in my opinion. And some of them start off not being Fs, but eventually every villain in the series has an F period, and except maybe Lanfear.
Yeah, but that's because she's gone.
Maybe, but Lanfear also isn't really an antagonist to anybody for most of the series. She's just kind of annoying. But like Lanfear isn't actually trying to stop anybody from doing anything ever. She's just kind of like I don't know.
Yeah.
But like every other villain has like really, really, really bad moments, or is killed so fast that it's like kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Yeah, it's just it's rough.
Yeah.
Greendale gets better over the series. Yeah,
You're right.
Greendale gets
Grandel's
interesting.
not an F. Grandel's not an F.
Yeah, but Greendale also like is just kind of like interesting for a fight. Demandred is interesting for one chapter.
Yeah.
Like, and granted, it's a chapter that's as long as a book, but Demandred is interesting for one chapter.
True. Yeah.
Lanfear is even actually helping half the time. Yeah, Lanfear is just confused.
Yeah. Lanfear is like the bisexuality of morals.
But ultimately, the biggest problem with the bad guys, including Lanfear, is that they are, in the end, we finally see how powerful they are, and they're so powerful that it doesn't make sense for the events of the books to have occurred, and so it just kind of like ruins everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I go back to the scene in the inn, Rand just killing the 150,000 Trollocs in like an hour.
Yeah, I mean overnight.
Fundamentally ruins the power creep of this world to the point where if that is what Demandred was fighting in the Age of Legends, there is simply no reason for the last battle to go down the way that it is, because he supposedly has a full circle and that scepter, and I'm like, if Rand was able to single-handedly keep 150,000 Trollocs out of this fucking manor house, Demandred should be wiping everybody off the board. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, he's just artificially too distracted by Lews Therin, like, thinking he's there. Because people are like, well, he doesn't want to use his, like, strength because then Lews Therin will come in and
What's
kill
like,
him.
he has a full circle and he has the scepter. Like,
yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
For the fight, what does it mean?
It's
and
just,
so,
like,
yeah,
nerfing your character for, like, kind of, like, a flimsy reason because everybody knows Rand is not there.
Yeah. It's... I would love this series so much more if the villains were good.
Yeah. Pandora asks, will you read Origins of the Wheel of Time by Michael Livingston now that you have finished the series? Probably.
One second, before we move on.
Yeah.
Memonk says Robin was a good villain. Every good thing Robin did as a villain was off page.
Yeah. He's barely present.
Again, there's one fight and he loses it.
Well, no. There's one or maybe two POVs of Morgase, like, in the middle of it all, where, like, you know, he seems kind of scared, but, like, we don't know what his goals are. We know nothing about it. Like,
sure, but Morgase can't channel, right?
Yeah.
So the first time Robin sees any adversary that he can actually fight, he loses. And that's what happens to...
It's Rand, but yeah.
And it's why Robin and Samael should be the same person, and Robin should get away there.
Yeah.
He should, like, get a victory, somebody should die, and he should get away, and then in Ilion, Rand has to fight Robin again. Right?
Yeah,
like,
instead
Rand
of Samael.
barely beats Robin, but Robin kills a couple of his friends, and then he's like, the rematch with Robin is fucking huge, right?
Yeah.
But instead... Robin fights him one time and he dies. Samael fights him one time and he dies. Bilal fights them one time and he dies. Like, all of these characters fight one time and they die.
Or they get brought back, right? Like...
Yeah, but then they're not really the same person, right? Like,
sure.
They get new names.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Sean says he kills most of the main cast. They don't stay dead, though. Like, there's no stakes in that because they don't even know they died, right?
Yeah,
He's the only one who's aware of that happened.
Yeah.
Like, all of these villains would be interesting if they didn't die immediately upon encountering Rand.
Yeah.
And Robin should be so fucking powerful in that scene that Rand should not stand a goddamn chance. Because we see how good Robin has to have been a leader in the Age of Legends. Like, it's just like, the power creep of this series is such a huge problem. It's such a huge problem, and it gets so out of hand.
We don't know a thing about Robin, about, like...
He's a rapist.
What he wants or what he's done.
Only thing we know about him is he's a rapist.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. But yeah, Pandora is asking if we're going to read Origins of the Wheel of Time. Would love to hear your opinions on it. I think we'll definitely...
At some point,
I think I'll read it. When we do our kind of full series revisit recap, we'll probably talk about it. Because, like I said, we're not done with the Wheel of Time.
Mm-hmm.
Still definitely going to rant about it. And also, you know...
My name is Elder Price.
Just probably.
No, I'll go because it might be something we have to sign for, and then I don't want to have to go to fucking UPS.
All right, okay. Alrighty. Wheel Up Time asks, Bed, Bond, Balefire. All right, chat, you're going to participate in this one while Nerdy gets back. Bed, Bond, Balefire, Elaine, Avienda, and Min. Well, fuck that. That's difficult. Who am I going to kill? I can't kill Elaine because she is pregnant, and that feels wrong. What?
He didn't need me to sign anything.
Oh, he just wanted to give it to you?
No, he wanted to let me know that you left the house keys in the door.
It was a late night last night, okay?
He was like, hey, I just was worried because you left the house keys in the door.
Nah, that's very kind of him. My bad. We got home guys, we had a full food retreat.
Yes,
yesterday.
that's the excuse. You've never done it before.
No, but like
You
I've been
leave
trying
the
to be
keys in the
better.
door a lot.
I've been trying to be better about it, but literally my brain was dead last night. So we've got a bed bond balefire from
Yes.
Wheel Up Time, which is Elaine, Avienda, and Min.
Mary Elaine, fuck Avienda, kill Min.
What the fuck?
If I marry Elaine, I become king of a country. I'm set for life. If I fuck Avienda, I get the wildest fucking like craziest sex possible. And then like
Avienda would peg you for sure.
Yeah, it'd be great. We would have like a insane night, but Min isn't as crazy a sexual experience as Avienda is, and marrying Min means that I live with someone who can like foretell things. Like it would just be a nightmare. Eventually, I would get so sick of being like, of her being like, that person's about to die. Like I just don't want to be around that my whole life.
Yeah, think of how Min feels about it.
But no, I know. But like she has to do with that. I don't. If I'm choosing like. It's not even difficult for me to choose that. I
was gonna say like you can't balefire Elaine because she's pregnant and that feels wrong, so we're limited in our choices. Morally.
So easy. You marry Elaine, become the king of Andor, fuck the shit out of Avienda, probably multiple times because they're first sisters. She's gonna be around, and then you kill Min. That's true.
Yeah. There's definitely some poly going on there.
The man called Love. Thank you for that super chat. Keys in the door to make sure Nerdy isn't locked out on the last Wheel of Time book club.
It was on purpose. You know, I just didn't want to take any chances with it.
Michael Kioski says, "Wait, how pregnant is Elaine in this scenario?" On a scale of like 1 to 9, how pregnant is?
Well, if she's only pregnant for a couple days and you balefire powerfully enough, then she would never be pregnant when you killed her, so it doesn't matter.
That is one form of birth control. Is that why it's called Plan B?
Plan Balefire.
Plan Balefire.
Oh my god.
That's gonna be the new Plan B medication that we sell on our. Go to fourthwall.com/nerdynightly and.
I don't want to go through all the fucking testing and patents and stuff of medication selling. That's
so funny.
Leave that to the fucking shitty people of the world.
Albinho asks, have you read the epigraph of Towers of Midnight?
The epigraph?
I don't know what an epigraph is.
The one of Loyals?
We read everything, so yeah.
I think so. Well, remind me what it is again if you're in chat. Also, I just want to say Wheel Up Time says this may seem like a random addition, and it is, but thank you for being one of the few creators with actual ethics and morals. I appreciate it to no bounds, Taishar.
We try.
Thank you. We do our best. We lost Nerdy. I can't find him anymore. He's gone forever. I don't know what happened to him. No, we appreciate it. We're always going to tell you the truth, and we're always going to try and do our best in this life, and if there's anything about the Nerdy Nightly, then that's those two things are guaranteed.
Oh, is it this prophecy of the shadow? Is that what we're talking about here? Lo, it shall come upon the world that the prison of the greatest one shall grow weak, like the limbs of those who crafted it. Once again, his glorious cloak shall smother the pattern of all things, and the great Lord shall stretch forth his hand to claim what is his. The rebellious nations shall be laid barren, their children caused to weep. There shall be none but him, and those who have turned their eyes to his majesty. In that day, when the one-eyed fool travels the halls of mourning, and the first among vermin lifts his hand to bring freedom to him who will destroy, the last days of the fallen blacksmith's pride shall come, and the broken wolf, the one whom death has known, shall fall and be consumed by the midnight towers. And his destruction shall bring fear and sorrow to the hearts of men, and shall shake their very will itself. And then shall the Lord of the evening come, and he shall take our eyes, for our souls shall bow before him, and he shall take our skin, for our flesh shall serve him, and he shall take our lips, for only him will we praise, and the Lord of the evening shall face the broken champion, and shall spill his blood, and bring us the darkness so beautiful. Let the screams begin, O followers of the shadow, beg for your destruction.
Yeah, that was the wrong thing, but that was something. No, the beginning, with Loyal at the stump. Yeah, we did read that. Well done.
When does the one-eyed fool travel the halls of mourning?
I don't know what the Halls of Mourning are, but obviously that's Matt.
Yeah, but when does he travel the Halls of Mourning?
Maybe that is like in the tower in Genji, the Tower of Genji. Maybe that's the Halls of Mourning.
Oh, no, but that's already... Okay, that's already happened, yeah.
I don't know.
Huh, maybe, yeah.
Finland?
But
Hilarious.
it's interesting that the Fallen Blacksmith and Broken Wolf are both mentioned here.
Right, so...
Is there another blacksmith?
Broken Wolf is probably Hopper, then.
Is an epigraph at the beginning of a book?
I
that
guess.
That seems weird to me.
I don't know what epigraph is or means, so, yeah.
It soon became obvious, even within the setting, that the pattern was growing frail. The sky darkened. Our dead appeared, standing in rings. The dead never came back. That never fucking mattered.
What, they didn't pull a Lord of the Rings?
No, but remember when I was like,
the last battle?
Where's all this ghost shit
Actually,
coming
that's
from?
not true. Ghosts did fight the last battle with the horn.
Yeah, but like all of that, like the ghosts coming back stuff never went anywhere.
True.
It was in this time of sorrows that I stepped up to the great stump. At first, I was forbidden by my mother Covril, but my mother Covril demanded I have my chance. I do not know what sparked her change of heart, as she herself had argued quite decisively for the opposing side. My hands shook, and I would be the last speaker. But most seemed to have already made up their minds to open the book of translation. They considered me an afterthought. And I knew that unless I spoke true, humanity would be left alone to face a shadow. In that moment, my nervousness fled. I felt only stillness, a calm sense of purpose. I opened my mouth and I began to speak. God, I would have loved to have had that scene.
Right? I love that the
Yeah.
Amire like all kill themselves and like the fucking Ogier like this close to it too. Like, we're just gonna fuck off.
Yeah, if the Broken Wolf is Hopper or Elias, then who is, like, why is he a fallen blacksmith?
I don't know why he's a fallen blacksmith.
And if anything, he's a raised up blacksmith because he just made the first, like, power wrought weapon in, like, 10,000 years.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why he's referred to as fallen.
Morris S. Prinmon says, what and how did you get spoiled while reading the books?
I got spoiled about Galad being a white cloak.
Do you remember
on
how?
Twitter.
Oh, Twitter.
And that's the only thing that happened. For me, anyway.
Broken Wolf is Jane Knoll. Why?
Why?
He's not a wolf. He fell down the stairs on Fail in book 4. So. Alright. Yeah, I think that was the only big spoiler.
And it wasn't even that big. Like, honestly, it didn't matter.
There were a couple of times where we spoiled little things for each other by accident because we didn't know where the other person was in the reading. But, like, that was within the week.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there were a couple times where I think, like, I was like, oh my god, like, and then I would, like, say a thing, and she'd be like, I'm not there yet, and I'd be like, oh, sorry, and then she'd get there, like, an hour later.
Yeah, which, I don't really count that, but no, we...
And those were never big moments, because if they were big, I would be like, oh my god, did you read this? It was always, like, little things.
Yeah. And honestly, like, thank you so much to all of our mods for helping us. No,
seriously.
Like, we could not have gone on this journey without you.
Bakuna, Maddock, Blue, Shales.
Yeah.
Y'all saved our asses.
Yeah.
Also, to everyone who would, like, reach out on Twitter when people were...
commenting
during the Attack on Titan era when people were, like, deliberately trying to spoil.
Yeah.
I went back and read some of those.
Yeah.
Someone told us that Egwene died. That was, like, a big one that people, because people, like, there were some screenshots.
Oh, they would, like, Google, I'm sure, just, like, the final book, and I'm sure that's a big one, so, yeah.
But, no, our mods, and honestly, all of you, we got really lucky.
Yeah.
We got really lucky to have so many people reach out and be like, hey, don't go to this place. Like, that stuff was, that was game changer.
Yeah.
Everyone who did that, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Honestly, like, that's... Yeah. The fact that we made it through so spoiler free was like a fucking miracle.
Yeah.
Obviously, huge thank you to the mods, but also thank you to the community. Like, you guys, like, I can't stress it enough.
Pooh Daddy, we've already talked about the Land for Being Alive thing, but thank you for asking the question.
Yeah, thank you.
Albino says, after having watched the anniversary stream, are you excited for watching more of Sanderson live? I personally find watching him exceptionally wholesome. I've actually watched a lot of his podcast with I don't remember that guy's name. But I watched a lot of their Rings of Power discussions. And honestly, their feelings on Rings of Power really mirrored mine, which was nice to see, like, an author's take on it.
Yeah, listening to him also have similar feelings about the Rings of Power was vindicating. Is that the word?
Yeah. I would love to see them talk about Wheel of Time season 2 maybe in the future. But yeah, I'll watch his podcast. I like his podcast. So
yeah, and we like a lot of things about his writing, and so I do he's like a good speaker.
We've also spent a lot of time like behind the scenes discussing whether or not we wanted to do Brandon Sanderson on the show, considering his like Mormon connection.
Right.
Dan Wells, yeah. Dan Wells is great on that show.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I've been like watching his kind of discussions about how he feels about the Mormon church. And I think that his take of like, look, like I'm not going to leave the church, but I also do not hold those values. He's not homophobic anymore. And I think like that growth is worth celebrating. And I understand his position of wanting to change the institution that he came from. And so that his like very open-minded and, in my opinion, well-articulated opinion on why he is still within the church, but also like working to change it, is enough for me to say that I'm comfortable using his or discussing his stuff on the show.
Yeah, yeah.
But if there were to be revelations or something about him that were to, much like J.K. Rowling, who will never cover anything that she does again.
Except to make fun of her fucking, oh my god.
Yeah, but like, as long as he's in this position of like, hey, I'm growing and I want to like grow the institution that I'm in, I appreciate that. And I actually really appreciated his point of view in that and how open-minded he was.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like listening to him live. I think he's a very obviously very well educated, but also just a really talented articulator in terms of his positions.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, it'll be fun to watch more of his stuff and now not have to worry about like Wheel of Time spoilers or anything like that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Raziel, now that you finished the books, what are your thoughts on the metaphysics of the world, particularly the turning of the wheel, rebirths, and the fact that at some point in the future the Dark One will be freed again and the cycle will repeat? Is she right? I am curious based on your thoughts after reading the epilogue of the final book. Clarisse, you have a really strong opinion about this. You do not like it.
No. I asked last week, why now? Why would you tell this turning of the wheel? What is different about this turning of the wheel? The answer is, don't know. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I don't think that makes for strong storytelling, personally.
Mm-hmm.
I think other people don't give a shit about that, and that is A-okay. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I think that having rebirth without growth doesn't inherently matter to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that it is a rebirth system where there is no real impact.
Rand does not share his knowledge.
It's tough, yeah.
Right, like you could have changed so much for me and my feelings about the end of the series if Rand had shared what he had learned.
Yeah.
And not just fucked off and been like, I know the secret, and like and leaves. Because I think that, like you said, the point of the rebirth thing doesn't matter because nobody learns anything, nobody grows in that way. The only one who knows their past memories and is influenced by them is Matt, and it's in such a weird like obviously it's a very unique situation, but for everybody else it's like, okay, well like why?
But it for me, it's more that like the series is so much about like souls turning out again.
Yeah.
And I don't think the series gets into enough like what the value in souls turning out again if they have no impact on each other. Like like Buddhism isn't just like that you will be born again. It's that like you have another chance at enlightenment. And so I don't think the series really gets into enough why the rebirth in this world is why it exists, other than there is a set the concept of like there's a set number of souls and so we have to pick from them again. But like if there is no enlightenment, if there is no like end goal of rebirth, if it is just rebirth to rebirth, then Moradin is right like there is no, if the only person who remembers past lives is going to be the dragon, and
if one of your past lives makes a bad decision and your soul is tied to the Dark One forever and he can reincarnate you and torture you for your entire existence.
Yeah, because
that fucking sucks.
The problem with the wheel, right?
You don't have a chance for redemption.
Well, and that's it. The problem with the wheel is that we know that the Dark One keeps a bondage over your soul from life to life, right? And so if there is a set number of souls, and in any of your lifetimes you swear to the Dark One, all the Dark One has to do is wait, because eras down the line, eventually everyone will have sworn to the Dark One.
Yeah.
Because if there's no way back, and I think that that's like. I think
what would have been a cool moment, honestly, is if Rand had broken the Dark One's connection to people and their souls, and that he couldn't just claim them for eternity.
Or if you had
giving people that second chance.
If you had Ingtar be a hero of the Horn, right, and you say that Ingtar found redemption to a point that he is no longer, his soul does not belong to the Dark One anymore, then you can make the argument that the choices that you make in your next life can be better.
Yeah.
And you can get out from under the Dark One's thumb. The problem is that, like, because we've seen all of the Forsaken are stuck there, and everyone we know who's sworn is sworn for eternity, you get the problem of, like, well, eventually everyone will be on the Dark One, because everyone will live a life eventually where they make the wrong choices, right? Because,
people make mistakes.
Yeah, and I think that, like, I think that might have been the way to do it, is have people like Ingtar, have one of the Forsaken choose to not be evil in this turning of the wheel, and have that break their connection with the Dark One.
That's what I mean.
And then you get to have the theme of choices, and you get to play with, like, the value of rebirth.
And if Lanfear was that example, I think that would be fascinating.
But by not having that, right? Albino says, I don't think the soul tied to the Dark One is a thing. He can incarnate anyone who wasn't Balefire, but he only does it with people he thinks are useful to him, which are the Forsaken. Yes, but because he does that to the Forsaken, and their oaths are held across their rebirth, it implies that the oaths
that can
carry
happen to
over,
anyone.
that the oaths are on the soul, right?
Yeah, that and if that's not the case, then I don't think that the books explain that at all, because we are only shown examples of people who are spit back out by the Dark One when he's like, all right, let's get some evil done, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that, like, that connection to be him should be way more clear.
And even if that isn't how it works, the books don't set up anything else.
No, he's the Lord of the Grave. He says, and, you know, I know he's a fucking liar, but he's like, I have control over everybody who died, ha ha ha, which, like, could be true. Yeah, I know he's a liar, but that could be true, and there's no reason to think otherwise.
Yeah, so you get into this issue of, like, because the books never set up anything else, you're only left with what the books do have.
Yeah, and what the book sets up is that the Dark One's gotcha. If you are a Dark Friend, if you're Forsaken, the Dark One's gotcha unless you're Balefired.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
Yeah, and honestly, like, the Dark One's sealed back up, but because Lanfear is still out there,
out there,
she's still gonna make evil shit happen. So, like, you know, they don't even get like a reprieve from evil. Yeah. Like, evil's not done. This is one of the things I said, right? Like, it's not even like Rand has, like, stopped evil for a day. The Sanchin are still evil. Lanfear's still alive. Like, the world will have just as much evil in it tomorrow as it does the day before.
Yeah.
No, maybe a little bit less, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's a little bit tough. The metaphysics of it don't really work, because it is, like we've said multiple times, Judeo-Christian mythology placed over top of Eastern mysticism in a way that just doesn't, like, vibe, really.
Yeah. Raziel also asked what you think the political ramifications will be for Randland and the future of the world after the last battle.
I have no idea how to get into that, because it's so huge.
And we have touched on that in other questions about, you know, I was
the Sanchin
like, well, you know, I think hopefully the Aiel, whatever it is. But yeah, that is a whole...
Like, yeah, it would be so hard to discuss, because it depends on where people end up. And we don't know who's alive, right? Like,
true.
Fael, I guess, is the queen of Saldea, but how many Saldeans are there? Like, you know, like, what are you the king of? Elaine is the queen of Andor and Kyrian, but, like, Andor kind of doesn't exist.
Saldea, because Perrin is, like, her liege. Anyways, those connections are very strange.
We would have to, like, know who's alive and, like, where people are going after this. If there's enough people for those to be countries again, or if they're just going to be open space, or...
Yeah.
Becca Karn says also he'd only have them when not caged. The bore is open in the Second Age and closed at the end of the Third Age.
But no, the Dark One can still touch the world even when the
bore is
seals
closed.
Are
yeah, even when the seals are there, like...
He still touches the world. Yeah, he touches the world more and more. But, like, he still has, like, hordes of Dark Friends.
One, I think that this is where the caging gets confusing
because of the lack of specificity.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, is that
it's so vague that it can be whatever you want. Like, you can make your argument for anything.
And I think that's why so many people still talk about the Wheel of Time, because of that vagueness. But I think that, honestly, that is, not great writing.
Well, I think the ceiling at the end, what it implies, because the epilogue doesn't get into it at all.
Yeah.
I don't know what it means.
Yeah.
Like, did he seal him better than Luce? I think so.
Maybe.
But, I'm implying that. I don't... And they don't show us what Luce did. So, I don't even know if it's better.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, the Age of Legends was a utopia. Like, the Age of Legends was supposedly a utopia before the Lanfear opened the bore, right?
Yeah, apparently.
Supposedly, but we don't get enough of that, right? Like, I think that that having more of those flashbacks, having Rand get more of those memories of what the previous age was like before the bore, because we really only get the Ridian stuff after shit falls apart. And I think that if we'd gone back a little bit further and seen that there really was a time when the Dark One wasn't touching the world at all, maybe that would have been a little bit more clear.
Maybe it would have felt different, for sure. It's, and that's the problem, is it's not super specific. It's a bit nebulous. It lets people craft their own theories, which is, cool, but
the person...
when a series ends... Here's the thing. You want to craft those things within the scope of a series before you get to the end, and then the end should provide some answers, and I really don't think that this end provides almost any answers at all.
But and here's the biggest question mark about the series.
Okay.
The person who knows how to open the bore is still alive. Like, the reason Lanfear should be dead is because she is the character that knows how to open the bore.
True.
She's the only one. Literally, the only character in the whole series that knows how to do the thing is the one that is still alive. If she decides she wants the Dark One out next year, she can go do that, because she's the one that knows how to do it. She is the fucking scientist that opened the bore in the first place. So if she decides that that's what she wants to do, the one person who has that knowledge is still alive.
Yeah. And she's, the most unpredictable person. She's like, am I a good guy? Am I a bad guy?
If she has a bad year...
Yeah, if she wakes up on the wrong side of the bed, we're fucked.
Albino says, on a scale of 1 to 13, how mad is the plan to try and adapt The Wheel of Time as a live-action series? 36.
36 out of 13. Yeah. As a live action, yeah. Patty do ask, since our time is implied to be the first age, who would you say of any of the characters is your soul spun out again? Elsa Greenwell.
Who's pedantic and an asshole?
Who's pedantic and an asshole?
Maybe Galad? He's really righteous and not always about the right things. He's a little up his own ass. I feel like that could be me.
But, really believes in doing the right thing.
Yeah, I do. But
yeah.
I sometimes go about it in a way that makes people hate me. I have a very strong idea of what the right thing is, and I stand by it no matter what.
If there's a hill, you die on it.
I do. I think I like Galad and I see a lot of similarities between me and Galad. In a way that I don't like, right? There's things about him that I acknowledge. Cat Swain? I would not be Cat Swain.
No.
Absolutely not. No, I think that, I don't know. I think Galad's, need to do the right thing, and my autism, my Asperger's-y brain, I think that those line up in a way that makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. He's definitely a more, it's my soul in a much more handsome body, but,
Yeah, sure. Whatever you say. I don't know.
Yeah.
I, don't know if there's a lot of characters that I'm in this book, and, a lot of that has to do with the fact that a lot of the women are written as bitches.
Min, you're like Min. You stand by me through some bullshit. Min is like that.
Sure, but, I don't consider myself particularly philosophical.
Yeah, but but Min only becomes philosophical because she has to.
It's the hyper-focus.
It's the same thing that you do where you're like, oh, we're going to do YouTube? We're YouTubers now.
Yeah, Okay, sure, I'll go with Min.
Yeah.
Min's great.
More Min and Galad.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We'll go with that. I think that's a very like generous take on me, but I appreciate that.
All right. God, we're over 3 hours. We need to get moving here.
Oopsie. We'll probably have to do that quiz another day, unless you want to.
Yeah, no, we'll do it another
money.
day. Demetrius says, as long as an insanely huge work of fiction remains consistent or improves in quality, like One Piece, then its size is mostly positive since there's more of it. How did the size of Wheel of Time affect the series itself? It's not that the size did; it's that there is a point where there is a massive drop in quality. And
yeah, if the Wheel of Time had remained at those at that level the whole time,
it could be 90 books long if they're all Shadow Rising level of quality. But it's the fact that once you get into the slog, it is like thematically less interesting and narratively less motivated and less happens, but there's more words. It just kind of like the size becomes daunting because so little occurs, right?
In those books, yeah.
But
like the size of the first 6 books, I'm like, don't care. Could chew through that, whatever. It's
even like the last battle. Like people are like the last battle's longer than a Harry Potter book, but it's so riveting to read that it doesn't. The size of it doesn't matter. It was really just that like the series that had these characters doing stuff suddenly had characters not doing things. Yeah. And you're like, well...
Yeah, for sure.
That's boring. Like, I'll read 50 million words if there's a through line, right? If there's still plot going on. But, like, once you get to the point where it's like, what did Elaine do for 8 days? And you're like, I don't care.
Yeah.
And all of the shit that Elaine does in that book, they do the same scenes again in the next book. It's so wild.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Icicle, we already talked about Loghain's arc. It's our favorite thing in the series.
Yes.
But someone asked that question already.
100%, but I appreciate the question.
But it is the most complete arc in the books, I think.
Yeah.
M- says there's plenty of fantasy swearing in the books, but if you could insert just one use of the word fuck, who would get to say it and when?
I mean, it would obviously be Uno. Like... I
think my fuck would be Tam.
Tam?
Yeah, when he goes to see Rand, and Rand is looking like Darth Rand.
He's like, what the fuck?
No, it'd be like, boy, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh my god.
And like hearing Tam swear for the first time is like, Rand is like, oh, I've actually really fucked up.
I've got it. It's Egwene in the afterlife looking down and seeing that Kedwin is going to be the one to replace her, and it's just a Geralt, fuck.
That's very funny.
Celtic Mandalorian. Thank you so much for that super chat. Been along for the ride since your first Dusty Wheel show.
Oh, we love the
Wow. Don't always agree with you. Fair, but have appreciated your fresh takes and honest opinions that sometimes challenge me to reconsider my own. Congrats on finishing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That is incredibly kind of you.
That means a lot, and that's kind of all that we want from this. I do not expect everyone to always agree with me or with you. I mean, well, there are certain things where it's like slavery is bad. I hope we can all agree on that. But like the intricacies of the book and what works and why and all of those like really fun things. I love that everyone is different and unique and. And I do hope that we've given people a different perspective on aspects of the book and things to love or not love as much and why.
Yeah.
And the why of it is really the focus. So thank you for being along with us.
Let's get into Shafika's question. One of the things that I love about the Wheel of Time is the prophecies, visions, and analyzing them. What do you think of how they were used by Robert Jordan and the characters?
I think there's some great prophecy stuff in the beginning. I know you don't like prophecy in general.
It's not that I hate prophecy. I don't like the way it's used here.
Yeah, not your favorite.
It's overdone here.
I think,
especially if the theme of this is going to be choice. I think that like having so much be prophesized and Devirand is...
If it's fate, it doesn't matter if it's your choice.
Yeah.
Having those two things, they don't really work side by side. But I think that some of the prophecy stuff at the beginning in the first half was fun to explore. It gave us a lot to chew on. And then the thing is, later on in the series, the prophecies just kind of said stuff, and we looked at each other, and we were like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
And so I think it just got a bit more convoluted later on. But the earlier stuff...
I also think too many prophecies get dropped. I think that this series was really fun when it seemed like all the prophecies were paying off. And things like the Olivia prophecy is the Olivia prophecy is so big. So many characters treat Olivia differently because of it, and then Olivia's forgotten about, and then the way her prophecy fulfills is such a cop-out right in the epilogue that like it's like disappointing. And I
Yeah.
think the Olivia prophecy, I think that there were prophecies that I really liked early on, and then I think that the way the Olivia prophecy end right now, being so fresh off the end of the book,
It's rough.
it has like given me a like bad taste in my mouth for prophecies for the whole series.
Yeah.
Because I really don't like how the Olivia prophecy goes down. Like I just think the fact that she's not in the book at all. There's not even a fake out on the prophecy. She's just not present. And then
Yeah.
the way that her prophecy plays out doesn't make a fucking lick of sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense at all, because when do Rand and her talk?
Yeah.
Like, how does she know? Why does she, like, of the people that Rand could tell the plan, why is it her? Like,
Because of the prophecy, in which
it's
case
so weak, and
it takes away choice and agency because it's a prophecy, and so it doesn't fit the theme of these novels.
I really like I really right now am not hot on the prophecies of the Wheel of Time because of the Olivia one being such a central part of the epilogue kind of falling apart for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hidden Illusion asks, can you summarize what this series is about to someone who hasn't read the books?
The Wheel of Time is about 4 million words long.
The Wheel of Time is about a horse who is God. Yeah.
The Wheel of Time is about how we can fight the devil as long as there is a country with a ton of slaves to come in and save the day at the end.
Wow. The Wheel of Time is about how you choose to live your life actually doesn't matter because Taviran. It's
what is it actually about? The Wheel of Time, I don't know what it's about. It's a tough one.
The Wheel of Time is about smoothing skirts.
And crossing your arms under big old titties.
The Wheel of Time is about boobaing boobaliciously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would I actually say? Seriously, not joking. The Wheel of Time is about the journey, not the destination.
Yeah.
And if you can be okay with that, for me, the Wheel of Time. Philip is making a joke, but for me, the Wheel of Time is about the friends I made along the way, because that's the best part of it, is this community.
That is 100% what it is for us. Yeah. Yes.
The Wheel of Time is about the people it brought together to complain about the Wheel of Time.
And I think Wheel of Time fans agree with that.
Well, because even when we were at JordanCon, there were so many conversations we had where they were like, "Oh yeah, I don't like that part," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay."
Yeah. You love it,
least we're on
but
the
you
same
hate it.
page.
You
Yeah.
hate to love it. You love to hate it.
Hal says, if anybody were to write novels expanding on the Wheel of Time universe, what topics would you like to see?
I feel like we kind of have answered this.
I would really love to see Stephen King play with the horror elements of the Wheel of Time. Because there's so many great, Hindersap or the Mo Fell. What was that place called? The one I always forget the name of.
Harbor.
I think that Stephen King would write a really fun horror movie in this. I would love to see what's another author I'd love to see take a stab at an element of the Wheel of Time.
Whoever wrote 50 Shades of Grey really expanding on the polyamory in this this world between Rand and Elaine and Minavienda.
I would love whoever wrote ACOTAR to write the
we haven't even read that.
Tel'aran'rhiod sex orgy.
That sounds like
Can you imagine all the weird sex things you could do in Tel'aran'rhiod?
Yeah. Mark Torres asks, what incontrovertible proof from the books proves to you that this story takes place on future Earth?
Just too many allusions to our fairy tales and our Arthur Hawkwing being King Arthur. There's just too many elements from our history that make it very much seem like it's been influenced.
Yes.
The Weevils of Time.
Yes, that is albino. Well done. 10 out of 10.
Careful with the Stormlight stuff, guys. Don't know what that means, James Ross.
Oh well, luckily we cannot read all of chat. So, question 2 is, how many more books would Brandon have needed to wrap up all of the plots to your satisfaction?
I mean, he could have done it in one. It's really just about the fact that I think that he was given an epilogue that he had to get to and wasn't able to, like, write the story naturally.
Yeah, like, I don't think he could have expanded on the epilogue enough for it to...
Because it's like, here's where the entirety of the Wheel of Time comes down to. Brandon Sanderson says that Moraine isn't in A Memory of Light very much because he didn't have notes to write from, so he didn't want to make it up. That, to me... But he was willing to make up that Egwene died... And that can't, you know what I mean?
It's
like,
all about what he could get approval on as well,
yeah.
right? He didn't have free reign.
I don't know that Brandon Sanderson could have done it better given the limitations. I think Robert Jordan could have because he could have done what he wanted. But I think we kind of ended up with where we wanted to.
Yeah. But Simeon, thank you
for
for
that super chat.
Super chat, thank you.
It was mentioned, but have you read the Wheel of Time Song of Ice and Fire short story written by George R. R. Martin or any plans to? Didn't know about it till now. Does it take place in... This is like when
send some stuff in Discord to us, please, and thank you, because we'll definitely take a look at those for our like revisit of the full series recap.
Question 3. In the Age of Legends, all technology was based on magic, basically a ter'angreal for flying, heating, etc. Do you consider Randland to be more scientifically advanced?
Because it doesn't use magic? Interesting.
I
think with the Rand's universities that it will be.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have cars.
Yeah, they got a train, so... Yeah,
they have, like, cars.
Yeah.
Because they don't need track, right?
Oh, right, yeah. And then our final question. Icicle asks, out of all characters, who is the best or top 5 if you want to rank in Teleran Riyadh? I think canonically it's Lanfear.
And then probably Graendal.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she influences all the armies through their dreams.
Yeah, we've got Egwene and we've got Perrin.
I would put Perrin above Egwene.
Sure, okay, sure, yeah. Perrin and then Egwene.
And then Slayer.
Slayer. Makes sense.
I'd put Slayer above Egwene. Egwene's not there in the flesh. Yeah, I think that of the characters we know, I would go Lanfear, Graendal, Perrin, Slayer, Egwene.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. I think it's weird because I think some of them obviously have superpowers and special powers and like, you know, and a lot of them have more time there, but from the characters that we get in this as they are, I think that checks out. Yeah. That was the last question.
Moghedien doesn't make the list.
She gets captured in fucking...
No, she gets captured by Nynaeve in the Teleran Riyadh.
Yeah, sorry. Moghedien does not make the cut ever.
Moghedien is like on the list of people who know how to be there, but like Moghedien does not beat any of those 5.
Yeah.
Moghedien gets captured by Elaine and Nynaeve in Teleran Riyadh.
I think it's just Nynaeve, but yeah.
No, Elaine's there. It's the two of them, isn't it?
I thought they were separated
at that
point. Yeah. Captured by Nynaeve while she steals the block. Yeah.
Moghedien
does not make the cut.
Egwene literally... Moghedien has to be below Egwene because Egwene quite literally has a collar put on her in Teleran Riyadh and goes, that doesn't exist, and then kills the Forsaken. Yeah. And Moghedien goes, I'm collared, oh no, and then spends like a year fucking teaching the girls how to channel.
Yeah.
So no, Moghedien is not in the top 5.
Y'all, that was our last question in the Discord. If you, for some reason, forgot to put a question in and you want to super chat it now, we're going to give you a chance. Mm-hmm. But this comes to the winding down of our final Wheel of Time.
It's the final countdown.
Like I said, we'll do another one when we've let it
Oh, no, I want to do the Sporkle.
Yeah, this what?
The Sporkle test?
Sporkle?
Isn't that what it's called? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I don't know when we're going to do that because we're gone. It is called Sporkle. Okay.
I read it. And
guys, Skeptical Mario promised us money, okay? If we can... $2 for every character that we get correct.
How does this work?
We
have 20 minutes? Let's do it.
Right now?
Yeah, fuck it.
But only if Skeptical Mario's here.
Well, but it'll live forever on the internet.
That's true. Guys, never mind. The podcast is not ending.
The podcast is not over.
I guess we're doing this.
We're doing a Sporkle.
We don't need to eat. It's like 2:30 in the afternoon.
We'll eat in 20 minutes.
No, I know. I'm just teasing. Although between the two of us, it's probably going to take more than 20 minutes.
Well, no, there's a count. I don't think we have more than 20 minutes.
Oh, there's a timer. Oh, shit. Okay, so we have to do this fast. Gotta go fast. Okay, all right.
All right, here we go.
Oh, wow.
Chat, are you ready for the end?
Chat.
We're sporkling.
Surprise.
Guys, we're sporkling. Here we go. Oh my God. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
How does it work?
Can you? Oh, we just have to name characters. Oh,
Wait,
Rand.
what? Oh.
Perrin. Matt. Egwene. Tom.
Tam.
Moiraine. Tam.
I hope it forgives spelling mistakes.
Lan.
No, it took Mandragoran, so you got to do Lanfear.
Lanfear.
Yeah. Did that not pop up? Or maybe it did lower down.
Moradin.
I'm just gonna scroll down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, keep going. You're good.
Shit. Fucking.
Wait, you just have to name. Okay.
Swan. Suan.
Sinchi.
Gareth. Gareth.
No. Y. I'm pretty sure it's Y.
Gareth.
No. E. Yeah, it's an E.
Gareth.
Gareth. Brian. Nailed it.
Oh my god.
Rodell. Just put Rodell.
I love that you only have to get their first names too.
Oh, thank God. If we had to spell all of these.
Mogadian?
Oh, thank God. Sean. And Sean.
Sean, right?
No, there's no. The
Cheyenne.
joke.
Sean. Cyan. Fuck.
Pavara.
Androl. Wow, 612. He pops in at the end and then does a lot.
Yeah, I guess so.
Pavara.
Did you get
Aleda, Bella.
Belal.
No.
What?
He's only in the first book, right? Agenor is mentioned a lot.
Oh, it might just be later down in the page.
Belthamel. No, it didn't Belthamel. Isn't that a character?
Yeah, Belthamel.
No.
No, that's not working. Oh, okay.
Arangar.
I don't know the rules of this.
Oh wait, Balthamel. Fuck.
Balthamel.
All right.
Halima. Or no, I guess.
Halima. No.
No, because we already
Nynaeve. Haven't done Nynaeve yet.
Nynaeve?
Oh my god. I can't spell anything. I'm dyslexic.
I know, that's why this is funny. Coffin, but a dad.
Sen.
Abel. Josh. Narishma. Jahar.
Jahar.
Yeah, Jahar. Narishma.
Narishma.
Yeah.
Wow, so first name wasn't enough. Evan. Evan Hopwell. Oh my god. Fuck.
Loyal.
What about Mandarb?
Aldi.
Loyal. I don't know how to spell
Aldi. IEB, I think. No, ALD. EIB. I guess she kind of. No, Mandarb is way
There's
more.
also an apostrophe in there, isn't there? Dark One.
Shaitan. Shadar Haran. Is that a character?
Shadar Haran.
Oh, Masana. Masana.
Mesanna.
I think. No, it's double
A-N-A?
S. Or there we go. Okay.
Alviarin. Leanne.
Oh yeah.
What's her last name? Or is it Leanne? Leanne Sharif.
Sure. Oh.
Turok.
Oh.
Tuan.
Tuan. What's her face?
Fortuana Altham.
Kareed. K-A-R.
Yeah, R-E-D-E. For Kareed.
Fucking what's her face? Shariam.
Shariam, yeah.
Sylviana.
Yep. Gawain.
Oh.
Galad.
Morgase.
Ravin. Is it R-A-H-V-I-N? Yeah.
Toveen. Rand's mom.
Tigraine.
Tigraine.
No.
What?
Wait. Yeah, unless I spelled it wrong.
Fuck.
Loose.
Loose Theron? I think that's Rand.
Theron.
I think it counts.
Yeah,
Nope, doesn't.
Telamon.
It's different someone else. Okay.
Ellen? No.
We're missing one of the top.
Ruark. Bayir.
Amis. Melaine.
Melaine.
We're missing one of the fucking top people.
Rand, Egwene, Matt, Perrin, Nynaeve,
Moraine.
Elaine?
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Yep. That makes sense.
Avienda?
Brigitte. Oh, yeah, A-V, and, there's an H in there somewhere. Brigitte? Birgit?
Is it Burr or Bruh?
Birgitte, I think.
Yeah.
Nice.
Shit. Fuck.
Adolescent Valdine?
Valdine, like that?
Adelius and fuck, what's her name?
Varen. And then
what's her sister's name?
Vannin and
Hurin.
Cian. No.
Hurin.
Agelmar.
It's Vandine.
Agelmar? Agelmar?
Yes. Vandine.
Rodell. We did a Rodell, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah. We didn't. Who's the other great captain? Rodell, Agelmar, Gareth, and Davram.
Oh, Bashir. Yes.
Oh, Fail. Oh my God.
Fail.
Yeah.
Gaul.
Bane.
Chiad.
Chiad.
Fuck, if only we could remember the list of women that Rand goes through in his head.
Oh, who's the one who dies?
Layla? No. It starts with a... Fuck.
Okay, here we go.
Leandrin?
Yeah.
I swear it starts with an L.
Sorry,
Layla?
podcast listeners. This is probably a nightmare to listen to.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, we're not looking at chat for a reason. We're trying to do this ourselves.
Yeah.
13 more minutes. We got this. Oliver. Satali.
Oh, Satel. No.
Yeah, Satal and Ann.
Fuck, I can't spell.
Olivia.
Yes.
Who are the other,
Sean.
I don't know how to spell any of the Seans.
Oh, starts with a G, bonded to Logain. Did we get Logain?
Logain.
Starts with a G, right?
Gabriel.
Gabriel? Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are the other Two Rivers boys? Oh my God. Will Alcine. Elsa Grinwell.
LSE?
Yeah, I think Grinwell.
No. What if I put in just Grinwell? No.
Fuck. I thought that was her name.
Ramonda and Lelaine, right?
Yes, Ramonda Lelaine. Pedron Nile.
How do you spell Pedron?
Pedron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Balwer.
And then gets killed. Valda. Yeah, I think that's it.
Owen? Yeah.
Yes, Eamon Valda.
The Dane Bornhall. And
Geofram.
Geofram.
Yes,
yeah.
Nice.
Ishamael? No, it's the same
No,
as
we kind of yeah.
Who is this person? There's someone who's so important that we're forgetting.
Fail.
Hopper maybe? Okay, Hopper counts. Elias?
Where is Avienda? Oh, she's right there.
Yeah.
Who gets mentioned more than Fail?
I don't know. Ileana? How do you spell Ileana?
Iley?
Ileana? Or is it just Ilyana? No.
No, she's not actually in the books herself, so it makes sense that she's not there.
Who are we missing? Angel Pavara. Galena.
Semiraj.
Galena. Samir Hagi, right?
Yeah, Samir Hagi.
Shido lady. Couladin.
Oh, cool.
And
Savannah.
And do we have all the Forsaken? Did we do
Robin?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Samael.
Samael. Yeah, right.
Did we do Demandrid? We might not have.
Okay, cool. Who the fuck is above Fael that we're missing?
Is Shendla on this list? No, she's not. She comes in too late.
Nakomi.
Nicola. Nakomi?
The
I don't think
creator.
Nakomi's in this enough. Yeah.
Creator.
Because it's the top 200. Oh, creator maybe.
Is that's a person?
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Okay, let's
Mentioned
go.
114 times.
Okay.
Oh, fuck. Galad. Did I do Galad?
Yeah.
Berlane?
Berlane. Nice.
Berlane?
Oh!
Is it Berlane?
Yeah, Lain. Yes.
Okay.
Fucking what's we need the Zarine?
Zarine? No.
What's her name? The fucking it starts with a Z. Fuck me.
Is Rena? Yeah, Rena Emain.
What's her scary lady? Starts with an A. One of the fucking kinswoman. One of the kinswomen. She's the one.
Alice.
Alice. Thank you.
I don't know how to spell it though. Is it Alice? No.
Try putting in Alice like normal.
Alice? No. Should we just start putting in normal names? How have we not gotten like the 9th one? We're gonna feel so dumb for that one and that one.
I know. Oh, what's Loyal's girlfriend's name? Aerith?
Aerith.
What's his mom's name?
I don't know.
Fuck, we just read it in the thingy. My mom starts with a C, I think.
8 minutes. We're doing okay. 86. I feel pretty good at 86.
Guy, H, that they're traveling with.
Hamar?
Hamar, yes.
Hamar.
AR? Hamar?
No, it's H. No. Did we do Huron? Did we do Talmanis? What about Aludra?
Oh, good call.
Who else is in the Band of the Red Hand? Vanin we did. We need to start doing it by place, right? Because we did I do more Gaze?
Yeah, we got more Gaze.
What about who's the Morgase's boy?
No. Yes. Starts with a T and it's not Talmanis.
What happened to him? Where's he in the last battle?
Doesn't matter.
Totally
they go fuck off and have sex.
What's Innkeeper?
Basil Gill.
Basil Gill.
Shipkeeper. Ship captain.
There's no way Basil Gill is not.
What? Okay, Bail Doman.
Basil Gill's in a lot of these books.
Yeah, that's garbage.
Bail Doman, yeah.
Nice. Aegeanin is on there already.
Aegeanin? I actually don't think she is.
Okay, sick.
Who's the panarch of Tenchiko?
Aleandra? Fucking...
Aleander.
Yeah.
That's one.
Yeah. Alejandro. Fucking...
Okay.
Fuck.
It's starting to get hard to remember what we've already put on there.
I know. I'm like trying not to look at like chat over
I know.
here. Fuck.
Padden Fane.
Oh yeah, true.
What about like Machin Shin? No.
Is that a character? Yeah, no, I guess not.
Narg? No.
Pips?
Pips, no.
What?
Wind? No. We did Ulver, right?
Yeah, we did Ulver.
Who are some of the Aes Sedai that are like with them when they're in Ebudar? What are their names? What's the queen? Oh, what's the queen of Ebudar? And her son. Tylin. What's her son's name?
Starts with a B.
I don't know. Okay.
What's their last name?
Tylin. I don't know. Oh, Archer.
Oh, Archer Hawkwing.
Archer Hawkwing.
Yeah. Fuck.
Wow, this is getting so hard.
I know. The farther you go, it's
Ingtar, did he live long enough to get on this list?
Uno.
Yeah, Uno.
Massima. Nice.
Yeah.
There's.
How are we missing the one at the top? Rand Egwene, Matt, Perrin, Elaine, Nynaeve, Moiraine. Is it Morden? No.
No, we already. Yeah, because we did a Shaman.
Oh, Min. Fucking Min Farshaw. Oh. Jesus Christ.
We're so good at this. Alana. Fuck her. Who are the other
Leandrin.
No, we got that.
We did.
Yeah, we got that.
Swan Leanne.
Oh, Suroth?
Suroth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the dude in the prologue. No. What's the lady who comes back with the knife? The dark friend lady. I can't remember her name.
The dark friend lady. Oh, I don't remember her name.
Are there any warders?
Sylviana?
We got Sylviana.
Warders. No. Lan is the only one I remember.
Who's the head of the Green Battle Aja?
I don't know.
We got Galena, right?
Yeah. Oh, who's the commander that Matt likes of the Sanshin?
Ty Lee. I think we got that.
I don't think I put in Ty Lee.
Oh, okay.
All right, we're over 100. I'm happy with 100. Aram?
Oh.
What are her parents' names?
Isla?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
starts with an R, I think. Raim? It's like Raem? Maybe? I don't know why I'm thinking that. Okay.
No.
We got.
Do we put in Elias, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and you got Hopper.
Oh, who is the woman who killed herself in Kyrian?
Killed herself in Kyrian?
Yeah, she like proclaimed herself queen while Rand wasn't there, and then she killed herself.
Fuck, I don't remember her name at all. We got Tigraine. What was her?
Tigraine didn't come up though, which feels weird.
Oh, okay.
Cara Lane? Damadred? Caroline? Darlin Weramon?
Darlin W-E-I? Weramon?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many Seans, and I have no idea how to spell any of them.
Sean?
No, it's like C...
Oh, wait,
isn't
there one that's C-A... Isn't there that? Yeah.
Yeah.
C...
That's an S.
Shine...
Okay, there's one.
He goes after Dav, the guy who tries to rape Elaine.
Fuck.
What is his name?
Oh my god, it's such a dumb name.
Oh my god.
Oh fuck.
What happens if I just put in Damadred? They just all fill in. Oh, Slayer?
Oh, yeah. I guess he counts as two people.
Yeah, well.
Right?
Because I don't think Luke or Sam come up, right?
Yeah. That makes sense.
Oh, fuck. Okay, what are we doing? Yeah, what is his name?
It's not David.
No.
Or isn't there a character that's David with ED at the end?
David? Yep, David Hanlon.
Oh, that's it. Hanlon. That's the dude.
Okay.
No, Doylan Millar.
Doylan. That's it.
Sorry, I got...
Wow, no?
Just try typing in Millar.
No.
Mellar. Just go put that in.
No.
Fuck.
Mazrim Tame?
Oh, yeah, Mihail.
There's still a very important character that we're missing.
I know.
Oh, wait, did we do Lanfear? Yeah.
Did we do Gowan? Yeah.
Yeah, did we do,
Who's at the last battle?
Samaraj Mahasana, Lanfear.
Fuck. What's Demandred's girlfriend's name?
Shendla. She's not there.
Shendla? Okay, not on there.
Did we do, Graendal?
Oh, A-L. Nice. All right, we didn't have that one. We did Amis. We did Ruark.
Yeah, by your... Oh, there's Mullane? No.
No, we got... Did we get Mullane? No. Yeah, I think we might have gotten her already.
Oh, Cat Swain.
Oh, fuck.
That's the one, yeah.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
I mean, we've got the, like, first row pretty good.
Yeah. Did we do Elias?
Nakomi?
No, we tried that.
Oh. We did Elias, yeah.
Yeah, we did Elias.
Fuck.
God damn it.
I want one more.
We didn't get any of the sea folk.
I love that we got 111. 111.
111. Any of the sea folk at all? Can I remember any of their names? There's one that starts with an H.
Zareen is the only one I remember. We're done. All right, let's go through the ones that we missed.
All right. Guys, we crushed that.
Jewelin Sandar. That's the
yeah.
only one in the first row that we missed.
Forgot about him, honestly.
Noel, we didn't do Noel. How is Jarrett Beyer mentioned more than Noel? Or Morel. Oh, Morel, yeah. Sulin, Alviarin, Dylan.
Wait, I thought we put in Alviarin.
We couldn't remember how it was spelled.
Oh.
Dylan, Salusha,
Fuck.
Asmodian.
Oopsie. Everyone forgot about
Asmodian.
Soralia. Yeah. Fuck. Oh, man.
That's so funny. Jolene, Marilyn.
We
forgot about Marilyn.
No.
Marana, Linny.
Oh, that was a good one.
We're going to get spanked for
Rianne was
Jared
one...
Grady.
Vandine. That's what... Yeah.
Martin Talonvor, yeah.
Talonvor, that was the one.
Saren, Tharava, Anea, DeBrain. Gerard Arganda. I was like, who the fuck is Gerard? Teslin.
Basil Gill is
Wait,
there.
I put that in.
Oh, I think you put IL.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Dahmer Flynn.
Fuck.
Anura. Why was the dyslexic typing? J. Chim Karadin.
Oh, yeah, Karadin.
Yukiri.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
Harin Din Togara, 2 wins.
Stepper is in there, but Pips isn't? Fuck
Wow.
off.
Stepper's in way more of the books, though.
No!
Yeah,
Pips isn't the whole thing. Pip survives until the end.
Beslin, Maidani, Maurice, Nalcine.
Bran Elvira, yeah, I forgot that one.
Bran, oh yeah.
We
Algarin,
forgot
Bale.
Herod Fell, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daniel Lewin. I thought Herod Fell wasn't going to be in it enough. Amathira, Tarna, Theodrin, Haral, Luhan, Bran. J. Deaton? I don't know who that is.
So is Aldib on here or no?
I don't see Aldib.
Interesting.
Like so many of these Reynold Fanwar? No
Oh,
idea.
I was
Florin Gelb?
I was so close with Rame, but it was...
Charles Gedwin? Can you imagine if we'd pulled that?
Yeah.
Talandin Gellin? I don't know who any of these fuckers are. Manel Rochade? Almond Bunt? That sounds like a cake. An almond bunt cake.
Elza Penfell?
No idea.
Is that Elza Grinwell and I've just been saying her name completely wrong and misremembering?
Barthanes. Michael Kioski!
Hey, thank you so much!
Thank you so much!
That's Skeptical Mario.
Holy shit, yes! Thank you guys are getting 111 out of 250. This makes up for all the puns I didn't say in the book clubs I missed. Thank you. Wow, that is so sweet.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Really, really appreciate that.
Damn, let's go. We crushed it.
I'm happy with 111.
Yeah, I'll take it. God damn.
Sorry, podcast listeners. That was probably terrible, but we should end the show.
Yeah, Michael Kioski, thank you so much.
We should end the show. We should end the show.
Oopsie.
Y'all, thank you for an incredible stream. Thank you for incredible 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Wheel of Time. We only remembered 111 characters.
That's fine. You know what? That's okay. I can't believe it took us that long to remember Min.
Yeah.
But you did it. You crushed it.
Yeah. I just assumed we'd already done her. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's one of those. Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much.
We'll be back
what a journey.
with more book club on Tuesday the 24th with the Inheritance Quadrilogy plus
Cycle.
new book.
Yeah. Starting with Aragon.
We're going to do Aragon first.
Yeah.
Or should we do them out of order? Should we just do like Brissinger first?
No. Fuck.
No. We're going to start with Aragon. It's going to be super fun. Thank you so much to Missing Mountain Gaming for sponsoring today's podcast.
Yes.
Use code nerdynightly15 at missingmountaingaming.com for 15% off your order over there. Thank you so much to everyone who's supported us through this. We're only just beginning with the Wheel of Time. I'm going to play the video game soon, probably in December.
Yeah.
Once I finally beat Baldur's Gate 3. And I'm going to, we're going to do some TTRPG stuff. There's a lot of Wheel of Time stuff coming. We're probably going to be hopping over on the Dusty Wheel at some point in the near future to talk with him about finishing the series.
Yeah. Well, we'll chat with the innkeeper. It'll be fun.
And, Ildram says, don't feel bad about Asmodian. I forgot about Luce Theron.
Oopsie. That's okay.
Thank you for an incredible 2 years.
Thank you for the super chat. And thank you guys for everything. This has been such a crazy journey.
It feels emotional to end this, but I'm so hungry.
Yeah.
And we have fried rice waiting for me downstairs. So
for you.
Well, there's a big thing. We can split it in half.
Yeah, you did. It's for us. It's waiting.
Well, I didn't
for
know
us.
if you were going to eat that right now, but that's what I'm having right now. Do something nerdy tonight, y'all. If they got here, they know who we are. We don't need to do an outro.
I was just going to say, do you want to do your high from the whole series?
We didn't do high-low! How did we forget about hello?
We got distracted.
Oh, shit.
We got distracted.
All right. So my family was blended. And so the way that we bonded is we commiserated over each other's lows, celebrated each other's highs. And we do this at the dinner table every night. But here we do it. Let's do two. You get a high and you get two highs and one low. The high of a memory of light. And the high of the series. And then the low. So we're going to do high, high, low, low, high, high.
Okay.
So do your high, my high, your low, my high, your high.
Sure.
So we'll compliment sandwich with you getting the beginning and the end.
So we get two highs for the entire series.
No, one high for the your first high is from the memory of light. Your second high is from the series.
Okay.
So Clarus is gonna give her high first. Clarus, what's your high of a memory of light?
Fuck. My high from my memory of light. Fuck. Logain. Logain gets a complete arc in the end of that book, and that moment made me cry, and that's worth something.
I get that. Yeah.
Yeah, what's your high from a memory of light?
Just Andrel in general.
Andrel's pretty bomb.
Andrel's character arc and Andrel's like moments. The bringing the lava down to save Egwene or to save Elaine, and then the when he comes in and he's like he tricks them into the steading using his gateways.
Yeah.
Andrel is like the high of a memory of light for me. He's so fun. I like him a lot.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
What is your low for the entire series? The whole thing. There's a correct answer to this question.
2-1?
No.
Oh.
No. There's a correct answer to this question.
Cadswain?
Is that what your low is?
No, I'm trying to find the correct answer.
No, what's your low? I'll tell you what the correct answer is because it's my low.
God damn it. Yeah, it's gotta be any of Matt's relationships.
Except with Aludra. Honestly, if him and Aludra got together, I'd be happy.
Yeah, but they didn't fuck.
Okay, yeah, but they still had the best relationship of him with any other character.
Yeah.
Except Tom Manas. And him and Tom Manas definitely jerked each other off at least once.
Yeah, at least once.
Yeah.
But yeah, Matt's sexual partners, wow. Yeah. What is your low for the entire series?
There was a point. There was a point in the night. It's called Twilight. Where I found myself at a crossroads. And it was, without a doubt, the worst book I've ever read. So, Clarus, what's your... Or no, we're going to my high for the whole series. My high for the whole series.
Mm-hmm.
Once upon a time, when I was a younger man,
mm-hmm.
much less attractive, much less physically endowed, I read a book called The Shadow Rising, and in it was a chapter.
Mm-hmm.
A chapter known as The Battle of Emond's Field. And it stuck with me. It is still my favorite moment from the whole series. It's one of my favorite moments in all of fantasy. Perrin saving his home from Ordeth, the White Cloaks, and the Trollocs in an epic battle that involved friends, family, enemies, tinkers carrying babies to safety. It's the Battle of Emond's Field. And the series just never got better than that for me. It really is just, it's my favorite part.
Okay. I love that. I feel like you know what mine is. Viridian is one of the coolest things that I've read.
Yeah.
I love the idea of it. I loved the execution of it. Yeah, like just, yeah. One of my favorite books ever. And my favorite moment from it. There's so much good, but like that one just, I think will always stick with me in a way that some of the other stuff might not. But yeah.
C-Sting says, you guys starting this after the show began is what helped me watch the show and accept it for what it is. Grateful for you, your perspectives, and lives. Thanks for a reason to get up Fridays. I'm sorry the book club is leaving Fridays for that Tuesday slot, but we want to cancel it less because of cons. So I'm very grateful for that comment, C-Sting. I'm grateful for all the comments today. I know we didn't get to everything, but it was already a almost 4-hour show. So thank you for everyone who stuck around to the end of this. Thank you for everyone who's gotten up on a Friday morning and read these books with us and watched the show with us. And as soon as the strike ends, our show content will be coming out on YouTube. Very excited to see that. We haven't seen any of season 2 yet. So I'm very excited to watch that and get into it when the strike ends. And I'm able to really dive into it with you all and tweet all my feelings because I'm sure I will have
I'm sure.
many.
Yeah.
My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Clarus.
This has been The Nerdy.
The Wordy.
The book club for the Wheel of Time. From the beginning to the end.
But there are no ends.
There's just more beginnings. Until next time, y'all. It's time for Smut Corner. Clarus, where would you have added sex into the Wheel of Time?
Baby boom orgy right at the end. They're
Oh, they're fucking.
Yeah, they're fucking hard.
Someone had fucked a Trolloc. Somebody was like, I'm gonna climb that Trolloc.
Isn't that bestiality?
I mean, it's only bestiality. Well, I don't know.
It's definitely necrophilia.
Bestiality is legal in places.
Wow, that makes it better.
I think like Brazil, maybe. I don't know. Baka Karn said, "Did my chat get mixed? Super chat? Maybe.
Maybe it was go up. Maybe it was while we were doing the thing and we weren't looking at chat at all.
Baka Karn,
Yeah,
yes. Thank you for joining the Nargs. Thanks for the ride. I'm very happy I found you during your season 1 Wheel of Time Reacts. Congrats on finishing the series. Looking forward to see what's on the horizon. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Baka Karn. Really appreciate that.
Yeah.
James Ross, thank you for that super chat. Congrats, guys. You did it. I'm looking forward to more book club and much more Smut Corner.
Hell yeah.
And then we read that one. Okay.
We read that one.
Sorry,
Thank
Baka
you,
Karn.
guys.
Yes. No, sorry we missed that.
Things got a little bit crazy. But yeah.
No, we do appreciate that. We were trying to do this fucking test.
We got some fun stuff coming.
I'm still mad about Teslin. I feel like that one we should and not knowing how to spell Basil.
Oopsie.
Yeah, I think God, if I had to add sex, I think that before they leave the Two Rivers, I think that I would have Rand and Egwene fuck in the kitchen of the Wine Spring Inn.
Oh my god.
I think that I would have them have sex again right before going to the Eye of the World.
I would have Matt leave Tuon and go fuck Aludra.
I would have Lan and Nynaeve fuck in Fall Mara.
Falmara? I
Yeah.
don't even know what that is.
It's, well, Agomar. It happens in the show.
Oh.
I was just adding the sex scenes that Rafe added.
Oh, in the
into
show. It's like,
show.
what? I'm so... Where? What?
Do something nerdy tonight, y'all.
Bye, guys.
Bye.